Our main character Lu is stuck inside the useless, fleshless body of a weak skeleton. He has already hit his absolute limit and cannot grow any stronger, but luckily, Demon Queen Wu has taken a massive interest in him. She sees limitless potential in him. To help him harness that power, she invites the skeleton into a secret realm known as the evolutionary blood pool. He is supposed to marinate in this pulsing well of carnage, soaking up enough essence to upgrade his weak bloodline. Lu wastes no time and lets his frail bony body absorb the rich blood essence at an insanely fast rate. Even the hard-to-please Queen Wu is genuinely surprised by his crazy rate of absorption. However, a bitter group of haters are not thrilled about his massive success. They try to ruin his evolution process by ambushing him from all sides. Surprisingly, Queen Wu does not even bother stepping in because she already knows he is about to absolutely destroy them. A thick blood cocoon forms around him during the transition. The assassins try to strike it with everything they have, but their efforts are already too late. The cocoon shatters, and a brand new Lu emerges, looking absolutely nothing like his old skinny skeleton self. He looks like a devil born from darkness, not even flinching as he instantly decapitates the first two assassins who dare to step forward. The others? They learn absolutely nothing from their friend's sudden demise. They charge ahead to slay this nightmare, only to get their hearts ripped straight out of their chests. Lu squeezes and pops them like cheap party balloons. Even the assassin leader gets his head effortlessly separated from his body. Queen Wu is thoroughly enjoying this show, seeing her wildest expectations become reality. She is thrilled to watch this young skeleton effortlessly massacre a group of elite veteran fighters. But get this, our boy was not always such a powerhouse. Before becoming a literal death machine, he was just a corporate slave working as a developer for the very game he is now trapped in. For some unknown reason, his older brother mysteriously vanished one day while beta testing this exact game. Lu basically gets himself fired to dive into the system and find his lost brother. He and his younger brother, Fei, decide to put on their virtual reality headsets and search the game for any clues about the mysterious vanishing act. Back when Lu worked as a developer, he secretly programmed an undetectable cheat code, a secret code. Only he knows how to use it. He uses this cheat to grab a hidden scroll, allowing him to unlock the legendary Asura class. But the moment he activates it, a terrifyingly realistic pain grips his chest as the system severely glitches out. No legendary warrior. Instead, he wakes up in a creepy, dark world, trapped inside a fragile skeleton body. While he tries to understand what went wrong, a weird creature holding a glowing staff steps up, calling Lu its new. The grinning monster seems thrilled that its summoning ritual worked. Lu quickly recognizes this creature as Ryan the Undead Summoner, an epic-ranked boss. But to a former developer, Ryan is just another non-player character. Lu tries to ask where they are, which completely shocks the monster. Ryan did not expect a basic skeleton to speak, realizing Lu is actually a rare skeletal guard rather than a common summon. When Ryan stays silent, Lu decides this creature is completely useless. He turns his back and walks away, planning to find someone else who can actually give him some answers. His blatant disrespect infuriates the boss, who expected his summon to kneel. Offended by the skeleton's attitude, Ryan decides it is time to teach his servant a painful lesson. Suddenly, Ryan chants a dark spell to bind Lu with heavy chains. Lu cannot move. The boss prepares to blast him away, shouting that this will teach him some respect. Right before the spell fires, a colossal monster crashes down. Total chaos. Ryan is crushed, and Lu's chains shatter instantly. Lu stumbles back, staring up at the massive giant in sheer shock. Looking at this mountain of a beast, he genuinely wonders if he accidentally loaded into the wrong map, completely lost on how to survive this. Left with no options, he calls out for his AI assistant, C, who thankfully answers. When he asks where he is, she explains that he has landed in the terrifying realm of pure darkness, the home of the game's ultimate bosses. Now understanding the terrible situation, Lu asks his assistant for advice on how to survive and if there are any safe zones where he can pick up beginner quests. C quickly scans the area and detects a quest hub located a massive 100 kilometers away. She tells him to move fast and follow her directions. Their path takes them right along a cliffside where massive dragons soar overhead. Lu is absolutely terrified, but C insists this scary path is their only shortcut. Things get worse when they cross a deep lake, and a colossal shark monster starts chasing them. Paddling for his life, Lu asks for help, but C just tells him to keep swimming. She also shows him a message from his younger brother Fei, who boasts about already reaching level 5 and looting a rare weapon. Fei asks how Lu is doing, assuming his developer brother is loaded with epic items and experience points. Humiliated, Lu admits he is still stuck at level 1. Before he can even finish typing, another terrifying monster lunges out of the water after them. Finally, they spot their massive destination in the distance, which is a giant castle with endless lines of monsters waiting at the gates. C estimates it will take at least 2 hours to get inside, but Lu spots a secret side entrance with absolutely nobody waiting in line. C quickly warns him that the side gate is not on her safe map route, but Lu has zero patience left for following rules. He does not care about safety guidelines anymore, he just wants to get inside, rushing toward the gate with whatever energy he has left. He marches right up to the entrance where 2 giant boar guards block his path, demanding to know his business. Lu quickly explains he has an urgent matter, and to his surprise, one of the guards grins in agreement. Without causing any trouble, the guards let him slide right on through. Shocked by how easy that was, Lu even politely thanks them for being so reasonable. Too late. The moment he walks inside, the guards burst out laughing. One of them remarks that this clueless skeleton has absolutely no idea what nightmare he just stepped into. Inside, a loud announcement declares the current event at the tower has ended, followed by victorious cheers echoing all around. Just when Lu thinks he has found safety, a bright, blinding light appears at the end of the tunnel. He steps forward into the light, only to be blasted by the booming voice of an arena host. Complete confusion sets in as Lu realizes he was just introduced as the next contestant. The system scans his character stats, and to everyone's absolute shock, he is only a level 1 fighter. The stadium erupts in mocking laughter, pointing and joking at how incredibly weak he is. Even the host openly calls him cheap cannon fodder. However, he quickly turns the crowd around, hyping everyone up by suggesting that maybe this unexpected challenger will actually surprise them all. With the introductions out of the way, the host officially starts the battle festival, sending waves of hype through the crowd. Instantly, the local commentator duo, Quick Tongue Rabbit and a Slow Turtle, take their places. 3 simple rules. Seriously, are we doing the tortoise and the hare here? Even though everyone has heard them a million times, the rules of the arena must still be read. First, every match is a direct one-on-one fight where the last person standing wins. Second, to ensure fairness, all player levels are scaled down to match the lowest participant, with a minimum cap of level 10. Third, unless a fighter surrenders, victory is only achieved by taking out the opponent. As for rewards, the Grand Champion gets 5,000 experience points and an epic weapon matched to their level. The arena forces a massive level drop, setting a record for the lowest level clash ever. Naturally, the level 10 gladiators are absolutely furious. One guy loses his rank, another loses his ultimate. Outraged, they blame the skeleton. Since they have actual battle experience, they see him as a free point. Lu finally realizes his blunder, wishing he had just listened to C and stayed in the queue. But there is a silver lining. Reaching level 10, even temporarily, lets him unlock a starter class. A massive list of options pops up, leaving him totally dazed. Memories of gaming with his brothers flash. They always called him a natural assassin. He trusts them, picking the class to boost his stats. The host hands out weapons. Lu gets a dagger. Not so bad. If things get ugly, he can just forfeit and leave. Simple as that. But right before the chaos starts, the rabbit announcer shares some massive news. They have invited legendary guest instructors, and anyone who stands out in battle might get personally recruited. First up, standing on the left, is the notorious Lord Zhuanghui Shui of Blood Moon City. He handles all external wars and major strategic planning for the entire region. Under Lord Zhuang's command, the Northern Blood Moon Hall has produced 70% of the city's top young elites. Getting noticed by him is a massive honor, offering a direct ticket to ultimate power and a prestigious future. The crowd goes absolutely wild, screaming his name to get noticed. Next, the rabbit introduces a gorgeous yet deadly guest, Lady Wu Yu. As the Eastern Moon Hall master, she controls all resources. But do not let her beauty fool you, she is terrifyingly strong. She is incredibly picky with her students, having only ever accepted a single disciple, a legendary genius, Han. This prodigy shocked the city by winning 10 back-to-back fights in the arena. Just hearing his name triggers hushed whispers, but nobody dares speak her name aloud. Everyone knows she is ruthless and has a terrible temper. Lu freezes when he hears that name. If Lady Wu knows anything about his brother Han, she is easily his best lead to finding him. But staring too long has its price. Lady Wu locks her sharp gaze onto him, briefly wanting to obliterate the skeleton right there. Luckily, with Zhuang nearby, she holds back. Instead, she eyes a different target, Zhuang. With the intros done, the rabbit calls focus back to the fight. Matches kick off. First up, Bloodclaw of the Bloodline clan. His clan is famous for brutal combat, and Bloodclaw is their top rising star. Armed with razor-sharp claws, he is easily the crowd favorite to win it all. Living up to the hype, he ends his opponent with one brutal swipe. Next up is Bei, a zombie swordsman from the Great Sword Sect, a powerful new faction rising in the South Moon Hall. As the vice-captain, Bei is feared for his deadly precision. Countless veteran warriors have already died by his cold steel. Just as expected, he wins without breaking a sweat. Then comes Gear, a dual-wielding demon representing Blood Moon City. The guy is incredibly skilled, securing an easy victory. Suddenly, a massive upset shocks the stadium. Wait, did anyone actually see that? Lu wins his match instantly, leaving the crowd completely speechless. Keeping the hype rolling, the rabbit quickly announces the quarterfinals. It is Lu versus the demon Gear. Stepping onto the stage, Gear looks down on his bony opponent with pure disgust. He sneers, telling Lu to forfeit. To him, a basic skeleton is not even worth the effort. But Lu stands completely still. Meanwhile, on another battlefield, Faye completely roasts a pack of goblins with fireballs. The local girls shower him with praise, making him the absolute center of attention. Yet, despite the ego boost, he knows Lu is the real powerhouse. He wonders how Lu is doing and if everything is fine. Right now, his brother is facing his demon opponent without flinching. Even the rabbit host is shocked to see this apparent cannon fodder actually has a backbone. Gear is still laughing, plotting to give this arrogant skeleton a brutal beating he will never forget. Without hesitation, he uses a strike slash to close the gap and deliver a heavy blow. Shockingly, Lu cleanly dodges. Gear chalks it up to sheer luck and tries again, but Lu slips away once more. Gear switches to his void-tearing slash, but Lu casually dodges that too. The host is stunned. How? Well, our boy already measured his opponent's reach, calculating the weapon length and hand grip. Knowing the maximum swing radius is under 2 meters, he stays just outside that zone to keep himself completely safe. Since Lu safely controlled the distance, he easily predicts Gear's next move. He figures the demon will use a flash strike next, a straight dash that briefly locks the attacker in place. If he times his dodge right, that is his opening to strike back. Meanwhile, the crowd starts whispering, mocking him. Completely humiliated, the demon snaps and charges with a full power flash strike. Exactly as planned, the moment Gear charges, he leaves himself wide open. Seizing the gap, Lu strikes with a perfectly timed critical hit, ending the fight in a single second. Gear barely registers what hit him, as his dreams of becoming the Lord of Oblivion instantly crumble. The arena erupts after witnessing this massive underdog make it straight to the finals. Now, all eyes are on him. Even Lord Zhuang finds Lu interesting, though Lady Wu remains unimpressed, thinking the skeleton is just playing cheap tricks. Still, since he managed to entertain her, she decides to watch him a little longer. Lord Zhuang agrees, believing that a weak bloodline will always limit a warrior's potential. With that, the tournament moves to the clash everyone is calling the real championship match. Bloodclaw faces off against the zombie swordsman, Bei, mockingly telling him he stands zero chance. But Bei stays dead silent, trusting only his blade. With absolute focus, he unleashes a combination slash, merging water slash with a flash strike. This makes him 5 times faster than Gear was. Bei smiles, ready to punish the lion for underestimating him. But in an instant, he realizes he is completely out of his depth. Bloodclaw literally bites down on the incoming blade. With the weapon trapped, the lion prepares his final strike. Unleashing his explosive Fury Claw, he ends the match in one brutal swipe. Even with Bei down and out, the beast continues trash-talking, showing zero respect. The crowd goes absolutely wild, chanting his name like he is already the champion. Zhuang agrees, thinking Bloodclaw is worth training despite his mixed blood. Meanwhile, Lu senses something is definitely off. He cannot believe a giant lion actually bit right through the weapon of Bei. Since the arena provides all the gear, these things are supposed to be indestructible under normal rules. This points to one crazy truth. Even scaled down to level 10, the stats of Bloodclaw are way beyond the normal limit. Before Lu can analyze further, the beast challenges him directly. But Lu stays totally calm, double-checking his math. He might be outmatched here, but winning this tournament is his single ticket to getting anywhere near Wu. Sure, the odds are stacked against him and the announcer is screaming for him to surrender. But giving up is out of the question. His brother and Faye are all he has left, so backing down is not an option. No matter the challenge, he is pushing forward. With that fire in his eyes, the match starts. Bloodclaw wastes no time trash-talking, viewing Lu as just some weak trash who cannot handle the heat. Looming large, the beast boasts about eating Lu for dinner. But none of these threats even faze our skeleton. Instead, Lu just stares. A cold stare at a corpse. He leaps straight at the lion without a second thought. Bloodclaw immediately notices this guy is way slower. He is so slow. The lion casually raises a single claw to block him. But the moment they make contact, Lu completely vanishes. Before Bloodclaw can react, Lu is right behind his back. Though the beast avoids the first strike, he realizes something vital. Lu is a stealthy assassin, and that slow speed was just a trap to catch him slacking. Bloodclaw fires off a ranged counter, only to watch in absolute frustration as Lu slips away. The grin of the lion vanishes. He is dealing with a slippery opponent who will not let him land a single hit. To make things worse, a sudden sting hits him. He is bleeding. His eyes widen in pure shock. He has no clue how Lu touched him, and it makes him absolutely furious. Stalking forward with some heavy trash talk, the lion activates his special skill, Blood War. This boosts his power and critical strike rate by 20% for 15 seconds. With Blood Claw unleashing his full power, the crowd thinks this random cannon fodder might actually stand a chance. Even Wu gets curious, wondering what this low-level monster with a basic bloodline will do. It is pretty rare for her to get this entertained by a low-level brawl. Blood Claw pounces, unleashing a savage barrage. Lu blocks the assault, but he cannot hold this guard forever. Taking too much pressure, Lu stumbles as his defense crumbles. Blood Claw spots the opening and lunges to crush him, yelling for the skeleton to stay down like the trash he is. But as the beast closes in with his ultimate strike, Lu shows his hand. He was playing weak the whole time, waiting for this exact big move. That heavy attack locks Blood Claw in place for half a second. Lu seizes the gap, triggering backstab to teleport behind him and strike. Normally, this works like a charm, but Blood Claw is too quick. He instantly triggers Blood Rage Roar, freezing everyone within 5 meters for 1.5 seconds. The crowd gasps, and Zhuang decides right then to take this beast as his personal student. Wu feels a bit let down. She finally found someone interesting, but the lack of raw stats might cost Lu his life. Sure enough, Blood Claw shreds the arm of Lu right off. Leaping back, the fragile bones of Lu snap, showing his physical weakness. His legs give out completely. Everyone thinks it is over, just a matter of seeing if he yields or dies, a brutal death. There is no mercy in the mind of the lion. Laughing at the shattered bones, he plans to humiliate him. Yet Lu is just waiting for him to take the bait. Blood Claw jeers, saying he might snap the ribs of Lu one by one or kick his skull around like a ball. Lu just stays dead quiet. He is actually thrilled, counting the footsteps as his trap is about to spring. The beast steps up, grinding his heel into the detached leg of Lu to mock him. Without realizing it, he walks straight into a customized trap. Lu throws a dagger, which the lion easily slaps away as a desperate final struggle. But Lu still controls his other hand. He hurls the blade once more, combining it with his teleporting backstab. In a flash, he teleports. A brutal hit lands on the mighty beast. The lion collapses instantly, leaving everyone completely speechless. While the rabbit commentator stammers, his partner steps in to break the silence. Fed up with being ignored all game, the rampaging turtle takes the microphone to explain this brilliant play. He explains that this was all part of the master plan of Lu. First, he shows off his crazy speed, striking the absolute strongest target despite being incredibly fragile. Next, he riles up Blood Claw. When the lion gets serious, Lu fakes a broken state to bait out his ultimate skill. But here is the real kicker. Everyone thought his limbs got cut off by the lion, but Lu detached them himself. He used his skeleton resurrection skill to control his fallen bone, pulling off the ultimate comeback. Defeating a massive boss while being totally outclassed, the rampaging turtle officially names him John Yu Moonslayer. But even though the lion is down, Lu steps up to finish the job. Zhuang is not having it. Determined to keep Blood Claw as his disciple, he steps onto the field, shoving Lu back and preparing a skill to vaporize him. Fortunately, Wu jumps right in to protect her favorite skeleton. She fires her heavenly piercing finger, blasting a clean hole straight through the shoulder of Zhuang, leaving the elder screaming for an explanation. Wu ignores his whining, scooping up what is left of Lu and claiming him as her own property. She quickly pieces him back together, fully restoring his body. He is amazed to find his rebuilt skeleton is somehow tougher than before. But his thoughts are cut short as Wu charges up another attack, glaring daggers at the commentators. She warns them to announce the results immediately, or they are getting poked next. Terrified, the duo quickly declare Lu the new champion of Stormcloud Arena. He secures 5,000 experience points. Reaching level 15, he unlocks a new skill called Shadow Step, boosting his speed by 20%. Alongside massive stat gains, he receives an epic weapon, the Bloodstained Blade. This weapon converts 10% of all damage into health, a rare lifesteal effect that shocks the commentators. It is perfect for war, giving him a massive advantage. Wu wastes no time, telling her new sidekick that the Stormcloud catastrophe is starting. Since Lu is a complete newbie here, he has absolutely no idea what she means, he asks, and the rabbit happily breaks it down. The system has 2 phases. First, the arena picks a champion. Then, that champion is dropped into the player world as a global boss. For 1 hour, he must survive as the boss, hunting down real players for massive points. He can later exchange those points for broken skills and high-tier weapons. While the rabbit explains, Zhuang screams in pure rage about getting blasted. He reminds her he is the North Hall Lord, asking if she is trying to trigger a full-scale war. She just ignores him, so he threatens to report her to the city lord. Soon they are yelling, calling each other greedy schemers. Honestly, they sound just like two angry little chihuahuas. Seeing the drama unfold, Lu and the commentators sneak away. Lu asks to start the next event before things get worse. A portal opens, but Wu warns him not to fail. If he cannot take out 1,000 players, he better not return. Dropping into the map, his achievement manual triggers, issuing a quest to eliminate 1,000 players, just like Wu warned. Lucky for him, the system literally puts a massive bounty on his head, inviting everyone to hunt him down. Good thing he spawns right next to some helpless, gearless newbies. Before he can even swing, a total cheat item auto-equips to boost his stats. This broken gear upgrades every 10 levels, granting him a random assassin skill he can swap later. While the system rolls for a skill, 4 clueless newbies charge him from all sides. He dodges them like a pro before finally unlocking a skill called Hunting Scourge Blade. This lets him unleash 4 rapid slashes, starting at 110% damage and scaling up to 150%. Get a kill, and the chain keeps bouncing within 10 meters. It also packs a massive bonus. Every single kill triggers a bonus / dealing 150% physical damage. Being a total genius, Lu starts carving through them like butter. He realizes if he softens up the crowd before triggering it, his hunting speed basically doubles. It is like an auto-kill hack. After the massacre, he calls C to see if everyone can track him. She confirms that the system is literally broadcasting his live location. Instead of worrying, he just smiles as dark energy starts pulsing around him. As players swarm in, he goes full beast mode, plowing through them like a freight train. Afterward, he chills on a branch. With the crowd thinning and zero loot to grab, staying here is pointless. Before he can jump down, a greedy solo player struts in, looking all excited. The guy actually thinks he can hoard all the dropped weapons, but Lu is not having it. He instantly slits the guy's throat in one clean motion. As the loot goblin vanishes, Lu scans for more prey. Right on cue, another wave of greedy victims arrives, and he cuts them down like flies. His kill count hits 444, but he wants more. Instead of waiting around, he decides to go hunting, especially after a brilliant new idea pops into his head. Linking his location to his brother, he baits him with a sweet surprise. Expecting some free starter gear, his brother rushes over, only to freeze in absolute horror at the sight of hundreds of player corpses scattered everywhere. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the forest, lightning rips through the sky as a solo player named Luna completely shreds an epic boss by herself. They call her the legendary Moonlight Knight. Rocking the dazzling Nova title from ranking in the region's top 100, she radiates pure power as she claims her reward, the epic Heart of Resilience. This epic bracelet has a 20% chance to trigger under crowd control, boosting her resistance by 20 points. Up in the trees, Lu watches the whole show in absolute awe. Seeing someone solo an epic boss is a first for him. Highly intrigued, he asks C to look up details on this Moonlight Knight class, and she delivers the info in seconds. It is a rare swordsman class blending physical and magical damage with incredible stats. It has an easy learning curve but infinite potential. Just then, Luna feels a pair of eyes on her. She looks around. But before she can spot the watcher, a bunch of shady-looking players ruin the vibe. They try to scam her out of her epic bracelet, but she is not stupid. Instead of falling for their tricks, she offers a simple challenge if they want it. They have to fight for it. One cocky smooth talker actually tries to flirt his way out of a beating. Luna shuts him down instantly, telling the crew to back up their trash talk. Thinking they have her outnumbered, they lunge forward, only to be sliced to pieces by her beautiful starlight slash. With his squad dead, the leader realizes he messed up big time. In a panic, he name-drops his guild, warning Luna that they will hunt her to the ends of the earth if he dies. Luna does not care. With a clean, precise slice, she leaves a nasty scar across his face. Once he is dealt with, she calls out to the stalker in the trees. Lu drops down immediately. Up close, she is shocked to see he is actually a boss-level monster, while Lu is just as surprised she spotted him. Knowing a fight would be a brutal waste of time, they hesitate. Before they can decide on their next move, a massive swarm of players emerges from the shadows to surround them. The mob splits into 2 squads. One wants revenge for their scarred leader, while the other treats Lu like a wild raid boss. Cornered, they lock eyes, sprint at each other, and pull off a classic fake-out. At the final moment, they veer off in opposite directions, slipping past the mobs that were not targeting them. The trick works like a charm, letting them both slip away easily, but the hunters catch on and give chase. In the messy chaos, the 2 rival groups slam right into each other. Shoving turns to slapping, and suddenly, they are in a full-blown guild brawl. Luna and Lu double back, ambushing the tangled mess. With allies mixed up in the crowd, players start swinging blindly, making everything 10 times worse. Friendly fire triggers a massive chain reaction, and soon, they are killing each other instead of their targets. The survivors think they are safe, until Lu unleashes his hunting scourge blade. Like a relentless meat grinder, he mows down anyone in his way until his player kill count hits 999. As the dust settles, Lu is standing alone. Without warning, they lunge at each other for one final clash. But just like that, the system pings, congratulating Lu on finishing a hidden achievement. Meanwhile, in the real world, Lu sits in a wheelchair, staring at the ocean. She belongs to the wealthy Bai family, looking incredibly fragile with her VR helmet in hand. Her maid asks if she is hungry, but she quietly shakes her head. Retreating to her room, she writes down notes about the mysterious boss she met in the game. Back in the digital realm, Lu steps through the portal as his achievement pings. He has hit 1,000 kills, earning a mythical item, the enchanted divine earrings. They let him change races, unlock new appearances, and gain racial talents. He is incredibly pleased with this broken reward. The system pings again, praising his epic Stormcloud catastrophe run, and granting him 1,000 contribution points alongside enough experience to hit level 21. Unlocking the Rending Burst Blade skill, he boosts his next strike to 180% damage, ignoring 20% defense, with a 20% chance to cause bleeding. Stepping out of the portal, he is greeted by a roaring crowd. The commentators go wild over his 1,000 kill record, calling him a rising star. Naturally, Zhuang is absolutely furious. Lu ignores the haters, focusing instead on Wu standing ahead. She seems pretty impressed that he did not let her down. Deciding he is worthy, she opens a portal and tells him to follow. They step into a secret zone, Blood Moon City's evolutionary blood pool. Lu is completely stunned because nothing like this ever existed in the original game he played. While he is left scratching his head, Wu asks if he knows why Bloodclaw, despite being leveled down, crushed everyone so easily. Lu nods confidently, stating it is all about bloodlines. Just like weapons, a monster's power depends on lineage, and his is bottom tier. Looking around, Lu asks if this pool can actually upgrade his bloodline, and Wu confirms it with a nod. She explains this is a secret realm under her control, and he is free to choose any spot to power up. Smirking, she warns him that his evolution depends purely on his luck. Meanwhile, over in the North Hall, Zhuang is throwing a fit over Wu, humiliating him, blaming Lu for ruining his reputation. His assistant tries to soothe his ego, saying that defending the Lion Clan will prove his loyalty and make him look incredibly powerful. Even with that, Zhuang is still seething, but then his assistant whispers a dirty little scheme into his ear, and Zhuang instantly cracks a wicked smile. Back in the secret pool, Lu begins absorbing the thick blood energy as Wu watches him closely. She cannot hide her shock at his insanely fast absorption speed, realizing his potential is off the charts. But her peace doesn't last long. A sudden shout interrupts her, and she turns to find the Black Death Guards from the City Lord's estate. They deliver an urgent summons from the City Lord himself, ordering her back to the main city. But she's got other things on her mind right now. She casually tells them to wait, but these guys aren't on her payroll and have zero plans to play nice. Instead, the captain whips out the absolute trump card, the City Lord's blood-summoned decree, demanding instant obedience. Disobeying means immediate death. With her hands tied, Wu has no choice but to tag along. Before leaving, she drops a warning for Lu about random mountain rockfalls, telling him to keep his head up. Once she walks off, the captain lets out a smug grin, believing everything is falling right into place. Meanwhile, Lu's evolution is peaking. The massive surge of blood energy rises, completely wrapping around his body until he's totally submerged in a crimson cocoon. And yep, this is the exact moment his enemies were waiting for when he can't stop the process and is completely wide open. The Shadow Squad commander signals his men, and they charge in for the kill. But they made one massive mistake. Lu's absorption speed is way faster than they ever expected. He snaps awake just in time, releasing a massive shockwave that blows his attackers away. Meanwhile, Wu climbs the mountain path, accompanied by the grinning captain. The captain is absolutely thrilled that even someone as terrifying as Wu has to bow to the summon. But his smug attitude evaporates in an instant. Wu just stops walking and takes a seat on a nearby rock. When the captain demands answers, she completely ignores him, totally relaxed and enjoying the show below where a bunch of foolish assassins are racing to claim the credit for Lu's head. The absolute fastest killer reaches Lu first, slicing right through the giant blood sphere in a desperate attempt to end him. Once the barrier shatters, they wait to see the corpse, but to their absolute horror, Lu is completely unharmed. The assassin who swung the sword is losing his mind. He is positive his blade hit home. Desperate to finish the job, they charge in again, but freeze mid-step. As the dust clears and they get a look at their target, sheer terror takes over. Lu's evolution is complete. He steps out with an aura so ridiculously heavy, it pins them to the spot. Before they can even blink, Lu moves. The swift flash, both of their heads send rolling. The commander is completely stunned, but he quickly snaps back to reality. There is no time to waste here. He orders a full squad attack. They launch a beautifully coordinated strike, working in perfect sync. Yet Lu casually takes one step back, dodging every single blade. To him, they are moving in slow motion. Before they can even process what is happening, Lu is holding their actual hearts in his hand, dropping them cold. But the commander refuses to take this disrespect. He goes all out, channeling a dark energy that multiplies his physical strength several times over. Lu is completely bored, casually dodging the strikes like it is child's play. As the commander rushes him again, a savage, mocking grin spreads across Lu's face. That is when the commander realizes he is hopelessly outclassed. But before he can even flinch, Lu strikes, ripping his entire left arm clean off. Stumble back, he holds his bleeding shoulder, utterly lost. Every bit of intel they had on Lu was a total lie. Even so, he knows he has to kill this monster. Zhuang gave him this mission, and failing is simply not an option. Screaming at the top of his lungs, he calls out to the hidden assassins waiting in the shadows. They get the message loud and clear. Instantly, they sacrifice their own lives, channeling their life force to power up their leader. And the payoff is immediate. His strength explodes, and his missing arm grows right back. Now, overflowing with dark power, he charges forward, ready to tear Lu to shreds. Lu doesn't even blink, treating this guy like a literal bug. Just to show who is boss, he deliberately jumps right into the enemy's attack range. As he gets close, Lu suddenly drops back into his skeletal form, making the commander think the evolution is failing. Falling for the bait, the boss strikes with absolute confidence. Lu easily dodges every hit. Mid-air, he snaps back into his demonic form, and with one clean swing, he takes the commander's head right off. The commander's expression of utter shock is frozen on his face as his body collapses. Up on the hill, Wu happily applauds this flawless performance. He is thoroughly entertained. But Lu is not here for the praise, he wants answers. He asks if the assassins were working for Zhuang. Wu confirms it, adding that even the guards escorting her were with them, but she already handled them in her own special way. Lu realizes she knew the plan all along. He starts to wonder if this was actually a secret test, but to his total embarrassment, Lady Wu is staring way below his chest, looking at his junior instead of his new form. Realizing exactly where her eyes are glued, yep, right down there, Lu quickly covers up, blushing madly. But Wu is totally unfazed and playfully commands him to put his hands down. Amused by his shyness, she promises him a single wish he can ask for absolutely anything. Our boy Lu is no simp, though. Ignoring her teasing, he asks where his brother, Han, is. Hearing that name, Wu lets out a heavy sigh and drops the devastating truth: Han is gone. Lu freezes, his heart sinking, and immediately demands more details. But before she talks, she reminds him that this is technically his second question. Seeing the sheer pain in his eyes, she decides to cut him some slack. But first, she wants to know why he is so desperate to find her former disciple. Without hesitation, Lu reveals the truth. Han is his big brother. As he speaks, old memories flood back of that cruel orphanage he lived in so long ago. It was a brutal place where bullies ran wild, preying on the weak. Lu and Fei got beat up constantly. One day, those punks tried to rip apart Fei's favorite teddy bear. Out of nowhere, Han appeared and slapped those bullies silly, sending them running. Amazed, Lu asked the strange boy who he was and why he saved them. With a cool grin, Han introduced himself and gave them a golden rule. No matter how bad things get, always smile. Then, he made a promise. He vowed to protect them, no matter what. Back in the present, Wu stares at Lu's expression and remembers her own days with Han. He used to beg her for scraps and discarded junk, just so he could pass them down to his beloved brothers. Remembering his kind heart, she mentions a place called the Infernal Purgatory. But Lu just stares back, completely lost. Wu explains that everything changed after Han defended his legendary Stormcloud King title, defeating the terrifying King of Knights, Degadon. That victory was his 10th consecutive win, cementing his status as an absolute legend. But when he entered the Stormcloud Catastrophe event, something went horribly wrong. He never came back. 4 hours go by and still no sign of him. Usually everyone gets kicked out when the event ends, but Han is completely off the grid. Freaking out, Wu burns through all her resources to find him. After what feels like forever, she finally tracks his last known coordinates down to a scary place called the Infernal Purgatory. Since she knows where Han is, Lu naturally asks, why did she not just go grab him? Wu explains that some weird force is blocking the zone, making teleportation impossible. Lu tries to think of a workaround, but his brain is coming up completely blank. Desperate, he begs his AI assistant C to dig up info on this fiery hellscape. But the second she tries to load the files, her system starts totally glitching out. A massive error screen pops up. A total dead end. Now Lu has to hack the system himself. C warns him that he does not have admin privileges, but our boy is not backing down. Since he literally helped build this game, He knows every single dirty backdoor. Time for manual mode. He starts typing, hammering in his secret developer codes. Everything is lining up, making him certain this place has the answers. He breaches the firewall and steps into a matrix of floating codes, instantly searching for the entry key to the purgatory. But the moment he types it in, error messages explode across his screen, warning him that one more step means getting kicked out for illegal hacking. No way is he stopping now. He demands the system open the source code, but the database starts erasing itself right before his eyes. Before he can even process this crazy glitch, the system boots him right back to reality, standing next to a confused Wu. She does not even notice he just vanished. Casually continuing their chat, she tells him that she is out of leads, so if he still doubts her, he should go check it out himself. There is no other way. Lu prepares to dive into the danger zone alone. He asks for one more favor, but she reminds him this is his third strike. Luckily, she is nice enough to let it slide, so he immediately asks how to get to that realm. She says the only way is through the Stormcloud trial, but he already beat it and is locked out by a cooldown timer. He worries that if Han could not survive it after 2 power-ups, Lu is basically walking into a death trap if he rushes in unprepared. But Lu is not really listening because his brother is on the line. Just as he starts to panic, C chimes in, revealing she knows a secret way to cross over. She tells him to follow her, and he runs. Wu, who cannot see C, is just standing there wondering what on earth Lu is doing. When she questions him, he explains he has found a way to the player world, what she calls the other side. She is absolutely fascinated, but seeing how rushed he is, she saves her questions for later. Meanwhile, over on the player side, a massive firebomb goes off in the woods, absolutely roasting a swarm of giant moth monsters. That massive fireworks show is courtesy of Fei, a level 23 fire mage. His hot skills do not just roast monsters, they also make a bunch of female players totally swoon. They are practically drooling over his fiery charisma, but Fei is focused on the money. He smoothly changes the subject, asking where that high-paying gear merchant they mentioned is hiding. The girls point him in the right direction, and he marches off with high hopes of getting a sweet deal from this legendary vendor. Feeling generous, he even promises to buy them some nice gear after he gets paid. But as they go deeper into the forest, a sketchy crowd blocks the path. Ambushed, out of nowhere, players surround them from all sides. They literally call him their perfect scapegoat. Seeing the danger, Fei tells the girls to get behind him while he charges up his spells. But plot twist, the girls he is protecting suddenly stab him right in the back. Fei is completely baffled. Why would they betray him after he was so nice? Well, get ready for the ultimate betrayal. The truth comes out when he hears the gang leader call these beautiful girls his brothers. And here is the ultimate troll. His dream harem is actually a trio of dudes catfishing him. Fei is absolutely furious, not about the gold, but his broken heart. Now, it is personal. They rush him right away. But Fei is lightning fast, throwing a flaming punch that instantly floors 2 of them. More guys sneak up. He unleashes a massive fire blast to roast them all. Still, the sheer numbers are wearing him down. An arrow flies out of nowhere, but his insane reflexes let him block it just in the nick of time. A cat warrior leaps in for the kill. Fei blocks it, but his mana bar is flashing dangerously red. He is completely out of mana potions because he used them all grinding, and even gifted some to his catfish backstabbers. Seeing him weak, the gang demands his rare loot. They want the epic gear he got from that limited-time boss. They warn him that resistance is useless since they have the entire zone locked down. Spawn camped until he drops everything? No way. Fei just sighs and starts roasting them verbally. Mad at the trash talk, the white-haired boss steps up to finish him off. Accepting his fate, Fei silently apologizes to his brother for losing all their hard-earned gear. Right before the fatal strike lands, a shadow appears behind the boss, slicing him down in one single hit. The mysterious savior is none other than Lu. Fei is absolutely ecstatic to see his brother is finally here, fully transformed at level 23. When Lu asks what is going on, Fei immediately starts crying like a baby, whining that the beautiful ladies tried to rob him of his dignity and gear. The catfish players look worried at first, but then they see Lu and get greedy, thinking he probably has some high-tier loot they can steal too. But as they step up, they realize their entire squad is already dead. Before they can run, Lu flashes behind them, mockingly asking if they were really trying to threaten him. One of them tries to deny it, but it is too late. Lu and Fei easily swipe them away like complete trash. Walking away, Lu tells him about the infernal purgatory, that mysterious zone that might lead them straight to their missing brother Han. Fei completely brushes it off. A place like that? Total myth. Lu has doubts too, even if it does exist. They are way too weak to get close. So, they head to the nearest town. After a long walk, they reach the outskirts of Nakinda town. Walking the streets, Lu suddenly gets a weird, creeping sense of familiarity. Meanwhile, Faye is busy shamelessly hitting on random NPCs. Over at a recycling shop, two players are praying to get a rare purple item, since cheap gear sells for basically nothing. Lu steps up, presenting his premium gear. The shopkeeper inspects it and offers 95,000 gold. Faye almost loses his mind. That much gold translates to thousands in real cash. But before finalizing, Lu casually compliments the shopkeeper's hair a super obscure Easter egg. To Faye's shock, the proud shopkeeper immediately bumps the price up by an extra 10%. A totally confused Faye gets a wild explanation. Lu designed that Easter egg himself. Faye is so impressed that he jokes if he were a girl, he would smash. They secure 100,000 gold. This massive payday makes Faye the absolute center of attention. Next, they head to the auction hall to sell the rest of their loot. A massive line blocks the entrance. Worse, twin guards are demanding a ridiculous 10,000 gold fee just to enter. A young player begs the guards, explaining he is just slightly short on cash, but they cold shoulder him while the crowd laughs at him. Shockingly, Lu and Faye step in and bring the poor kid along. Seeing Faye's massive wealth title, the guards bow respectfully and usher them inside. The grand hall is absolutely packed with rich high rollers. The grateful kid thanks them and promises to repay the favor before heading off. Soon, a beautiful hostess hands Faye a VIP black gold card, offering to guide them while explaining its perks. He can skip lines, pays only 5% commission, and can get easy loans. Naturally, Faye starts flirting with her. Lu just sighs in pure embarrassment. Lu gets distracted. A mysterious woman swiftly brushes past him. The hostess then leads them to their private room, serving hot tea while explaining the auction details. Epic gear is in high demand, so their newly acquired Stardust lightsaber is going straight to the main event to fetch top dollar. She suggests they stick around, since they might find some useful treasures for themselves. Of course, Faye ignores the business talk and keeps flirting, earning a swift smack to the head from Lu. Lu hands over their shopping list, and soon, the main auction kicks off with the host hyping up the eager crowd. First up is the Roaring Heart of Flame, a highly powerful fire attribute artifact that absolutely melts down wood-type monsters. Bidding starts at 25,000 gold and skyrockets to 50,000, called by guest 9. This shocks the crowd, since it usually caps at 28,000. Bidder 8 wins. It is an elf named Xiao with a gold digger on his arm, completely crushing two players who came specifically for it. When one player asks who Xiao is, his buddy warns him that the guy is a massive crypto tycoon, advising him to avoid trouble. Meanwhile, Faye thinks 50,000 for that artifact is a total ripoff. Next, the host introduces a custom cosmetic item called Loving Maid, which turns the wearer into a maid. When bidding starts, a guest snags it for 66,000. But wait for it, the buyer is actually a buff dude who immediately puts it on, looking like a full-fledged drag queen. Up next is the epic Lone Wolf Battle Boots, featuring a tiny 2% chance to trigger Axle mode. Once the 40,000 starting bid is set, Xiao instantly doubles it to 80,000, tilting everyone. After that, Xiao keeps outbidding everyone on every single item, forcing frustrated players to leave the hall since they can't win anything. Faye is totally pissed. Lu tells him to relax, they need this rich guy's deep pockets for their own weapon up next. Finally, the host presents their epic lightsaber, Stardust. The host hypes it as a rare light attribute weapon that becomes usable once players reach level 30. Xiao immediately throws down a bold 250,000 gold bid, thinking he has it secured. But to his shock, Faye bids from the back, sparking an intense bidding war. Once Faye hits 500,000, Xiao hesitates. But his massive ego and addiction to winning force him to bid 600,000 gold. A nervous Faye wants to bid again, but Lu stops him. The countdown begins on Xiao's bid, but right before the hammer falls, a voice from the back suddenly bids 1 million gold, instantly securing the item. The crowd falls silent. A mysterious girl just outbid everyone. With the auction over, Faye celebrates their massive payday while Lu starts calculating their total earnings. But to his absolute shock, even after pocketing 1 million gold, the balance on their VIP card barely moves. This means there are far wealthier players in the cities above them. Still, they ignore it, having made more than enough to meet their goals today, and head off to Bushcole Village. Classic Faye yapping non-stop, filling the air with absolute noise. But suddenly, Lu's instincts flare. Someone is tailing them. He stops cold and calls out to the stalker. A figure steps out of the shadows. It is the mysterious girl who just dropped 1 million gold on their lightsaber. Faye assumes she is a robber, but she quickly explains herself. She just wants to know how they got that weapon since she actually lost it while fighting a powerful boss. This girl is Luna, who previously fought Lu in his monster form. Thinking fast, Faye lies and claims his older brother got the blade by defeating a limited-time boss. This news gets Luna super excited, and she immediately demands a duel. But Lu just shrugs her off and walks away, totally uninterested. Luna is determined, though she wants to test his strength herself. As they approach Bushcole Village, Faye eagerly asks Lu for details about their next quest. Lu explains it is simple. The village is surrounded by monsters drawn to a girl carrying holy light. Their job is straightforward: wipe out the monsters and escort the holy girl safely to the Temple of Holy Light. Arriving at the village, Faye immediately dashes ahead to clear the path. But he mistakes two local beast girls for hostile monsters, charging at them full speed before freezing once he realizes his mistake. Instead of running, the beast girls get super excited to see an adventurer. They grab him by the arms and start leading him into the village. The entire village is buzzing with excitement as they walk. Crowds gather to catch a glimpse of the new heroes, their eyes packed with curiosity and pure admiration. Even the village chief makes a dramatic, heroic entrance to massive cheers. Faye is left scratching his head, since this does not look like the terrifying, monster-ridden wasteland Lu promised him. Lu watches the weird scene play out, guessing that even if the village looks different, the main questline and key characters are probably still the same. The village chief practically begs them to join a massive feast, throwing the entire town into absolute chaos. Seriously, these guys will take any excuse to party. While they walk to the banquet, Lu tries to slide in a question about that rare purple medic flower growing nearby, but an old villager completely freezes up at the mention of it, dodging the question to push the food on them. Lu is instantly on guard, and once the feast starts, these beastmen go absolutely wild, eating like literal pigs. I mean, they are literal pigs, so what did we expect? Faye gets excited, but Lu snaps him back to reality. They need to find the mission non-player character. After looking around, they spot a little beast girl clutching an apple. Lu taps her shoulder, asking if she wants to tag along to the Temple of Holy Light. With teary eyes, she looks up and asks if they are finally here to save her. Just like that, Mission 2 triggers, and every pig in the room starts snorting like some ancient evil just woke up. They instantly mutate into terrifying monsters and charge. Lu and Faye do not even flinch, taking out the first two attackers in one clean hit. Naturally, that triggers a massive, chaotic brawl with the rest of the horde. After a brutal struggle, the brothers finally clear the room. But to their horror, the dead pigs start stitching themselves back together. A panicked Faye asks Lu what the plan is, but Lu is completely stumped because this is not how the game plot is supposed to go. As the beasts rush them again, they keep swinging, knowing they will drop from pure exhaustion. Knowing they cannot win a war of attrition, they make a run for it. They quickly duck into a nearby house to lose the horde. But before Faye can utter a single word, Luna drops out of nowhere and clamps her hand over his mouth. "Shh," she whispers. "They are still outside, so head upstairs." Up there, Luna explains she arrived early for the same quest, but noticed the creepy vibe right away and decided to do some late-night scouting. Lu nods, turning to the beast girl for answers. She is just shaking in terror. Luna gently calms her down, and the kid suddenly pulls off her mask, leaving them shocked to find a human face underneath. Apparently, Bushcole Village was once peaceful, and the wild pigs only stayed in the surrounding woods. They were harmless as long as you left them alone. Over time, the creatures even started copying human habits, making them even less of a threat. That changed when a holy knight named Greg showed up. He led the town in a massive sacred prayer, but the whole ritual felt incredibly off. The girl felt a sharp pain during the ceremony and asked Greg what was wrong. To her surprise, he claimed she was the chosen one and invited her to join the temple. But before she could tell a soul, the giant pig monster raided the village, capturing everyone and brutally crushing Greg as he tried to protect them. Somehow, the girl slipped away and hid. Clinging to the belief that she was truly chosen, she made a makeshift pig mask, blending in with the monsters while waiting for the perfect moment to make a break for it. Now she wants to reach the temple to report the attack, but Faye steps up, confidently telling her to leave everything to him and his brother. They have got this. But right as she starts thanking him, a massive, towering pig spots her through the window, smashes through, and yanks her right out. The beast prepares to swallow her whole, forcing the trio to launch their strongest spells. But with one lazy arm swing, the monster bats them away, laughing at their pathetic strength. They crash hard onto a nearby roof. Scrambling to their feet, they quickly try to scan the massive beast for any obvious weak points. Before they can plan, the monster strikes again, obliterating the house and launching them into the air. Thinking fast, Lu hatches a plan and tells Faye to draw its attention. Faye immediately unleashes his fiery comet spell, spamming fireballs to keep the giant busy, while Lu uses the distraction to sprint straight at the target. The monster throws a heavy punch, but Lu uses his backstab skill alongside his hunting deathblades to dodge and slice the beast's hand completely off in one clean sweep. As the severed limb drops, Lu spots the girl trapped inside. But before he can grab her, a swarm of small pig monsters spawns right behind him and lunges. Out of nowhere, Luna intercepts them with her Scarlet Waltz spell, screaming at Lu to get the girl. But the beast violently thrashing its stump sends both its hand and the kid plummeting. The Titan roars, literally spawning hundreds of smaller pigs from its own body. Lu instantly realizes this giant boss is just a massive fusion of the tiny ones. Looking at the insane difficulty level, Luna suspects killing this giant boss is not even their actual goal. While still falling, they realize the real goal is just delivering the girl to her destination. They scream for Faye to cover them, and despite running low on mana, he immediately leaps back into the fight. With a chain of massive explosions, he blows away the pigs chasing Lu and Luna, allowing the duo to hunt down a runner pig that just snatched the little girl. That pig is insanely fast, leaving them in the dust until they suddenly stumble upon a bunch of zombie-like villagers locked behind bars. Lu busts them out, but they just snort in confusion instead of thanking him. Luna is furious, immediately blaming Genesis for turning them into this. Lu is totally lost, but before he can ask, Faye's desperate screams echo across the village. He is sprinting for his life with an entire army of pigs hot on his heels. Meanwhile, the runner pig is still booking it with the girl. The runner scales a tower and starts threatening her, but using the holy light inside her, she summons a blade and stabs the monster straight in the eye. The creature lunges in rage, but Lu dashes in just in time, lopping off its arm. Even while bleeding, the pig is completely baffled. How on earth did he get there so fast? Well, 15 minutes earlier, as they were running, Lu handed out a special pill that made them completely invisible to escape the chase. It is a conceal pill that blinds monsters for 5 seconds, and while hiding, Faye immediately complains about the insane difficulty. But Lu reminds him their main priority is saving the girl. Knowing they have to think outside the box, he quickly cooks up a plan and asks them to help. While the horde scours the town, Lu sneaks up behind one of them, completely disguised as a pig, casually asking where they took the little girl. Totally fooled, the pig boasts that a runner named Wong took her, claiming he is the fastest in town and knows every alley like the back of his hoof. Lu laughs, telling him to meet at the village entrance once they grab the humans. But the pig corrects him they are actually gathering at the clock tower. Catching his mistake, Lu plays it off, joking he has had way too much to drink. Then, a massive explosion rocks the area. Faye is running for his life, holding what looks like the kid, an angry pack of pigs hot on his heels. Turns out, this is their brilliant plan to distract the mob so Lu can sneak into the clock tower. Meanwhile, Lu wastes absolutely no time. He slices through the guard pig, grabs the girl, and bolts. They meet up with the others to make a run for it, but that massive boss beast and the pig horde are already right behind them. Desperate for an edge, they chug down agility potions to boost their speed by 30%. Thanks to the quick buff, they dodge the monster and escape Bushcool Village. Suddenly, they turn around, and what they see absolutely blows their minds complete shock. And honestly, this is where it gets crazy. The huge beast slams the ground, and suddenly, every single pig glitches and vanishes, only to teleport right next to the squad, sending everyone into a Mario-style panic sprint. Running in a weird side-scroller view, they spot a random ostrich, hop right on, and finally put some distance between them and the pork patrol. Once they are far enough, they let the bird go and walk until they find a scenic lake. Since those angry pigs are still 30 minutes behind, they figure a quick 15-minute breather is safe. Faye and the kids start happily splashing around in the water like idiots, while Luna stays on land to check her menu stats. Seeing Luna look so stressed, the little girl holds her hand and offers to pray for her happiness. Suddenly, a bright light flashes, and Luna sees her parents in a memory, calling out to her to hurry before they leave for somewhere unknown. A single tear rolls down her face. The memory is just too much to handle. The kid panics and apologizes, saying she only wanted to trigger a happy memory. Luna just smiles softly and tells her that it really was a happy one. Faye sees this and wants in on the magic prayer action. He closes his eyes and sees a memory of himself having lunch, while Lu and Han argue over some stupid little thing. Business as usual. The warm memory gets Faye all choked up, but the moment the kid points out his tears, he panics and faceplants straight back into the lake to hide it. Next, the girl walks over to Lu, who is chilling up in a tree, and tells him how much she admires his bravery. She wants to help him with whatever he is brooding about, but Lu just brushes her off, saying he has nothing worth remembering. To him, staring at the past only slows down your future. The girl mentions how the villagers took care of her after her parents died, and how safe she feels with a hero like Lu. But as she prays for those kind souls, tears fill her eyes as she remembers what happened to them. Lu tries to comfort her, saying she has already done plenty. Feeling a bit better, she wonders aloud if she can ever grow up to be strong like him. Remembering how Han used to shield him from bullies, Lu is sure she will. But their short break is over, and it is time to move out. But the moment the kid grabs Lu's hand, his achievement manual dings, warning him that the quest difficulty just spiked. Now he has to beat the king with help from the crunch. This triggers after delivering the non-player character girl to safety. Meanwhile, back in the village, that monster is roaring louder than ever, and the pigs are still relentlessly tracking their scent. No matter how many pigs they slash, the things heal instantly. They keep running, with 50 kilometers left until they reach the holy temple. Running on fumes, Faye tries to chug a potion, completely missing the pig sneaking up behind him. As the beast swings, Lou jumps in, chopping its head off but taking the heavy blow meant for Faye. Seizing the opening, Faye fires off a blast of heat to blow the pig away. They keep running, but everyone is seriously worried about Lou's nasty injury. Lou insists they can't stop to heal or they will get surrounded. Pushing through the pain, they put some distance behind them and reach a massive wall with a creepy narrow crack, 20 kilometers from the goal. Realizing it is their only way out, they head straight for the crack. But as Lou looks back at the oncoming horde, some things seem off. The pig count is dropping. Sliding into the crack, Luna notices it too. Lou warns that an ambush might be waiting, so they need to hustle. After running through the dark, they finally see the exit, but the path suddenly goes pitch black. They look up, and the terrifying beast pig is standing right there, blocking their escape. Trapped on both sides, the trio surrounds the little girl and readies their spells. The moment the pigs charge, they let loose with everything they have got, but the kid refuses to hide this time. She stands her ground, trusting the holy light to shield them. Meanwhile, at the actual temple, knights assemble before their bishop, urging him to find the host of light to beat back the darkness. A knight reports that the pigs are gathering near the eastern valley, which makes the bishop furious. Without wasting a second, he orders his men to move out. Stepping outside, the bishop spots a girl wearing a creepy pig mask. Assuming she is a creature of darkness, he prepares to blast the monster to pieces, but she pulls off the mask and begs for help. She explains that she fled from Coal Village, where a pack of pigs just slaughtered every single person. She begs him to rescue the 3 brave adventurers who saved her and are now trapped. The bishop's face completely changes the moment he realizes this little girl is the actual host of the holy light. Ecstatic, he picks her up, celebrating that they finally found their chosen savior. With wild energy, he asks if she is ready to join the holy light and help wipe out the darkness. The kid is totally confused, not knowing what he means. Meanwhile, back inside the crack, wait, let us call it the mountain path, the trio is fighting for their lives against waves of pigs. Exhausted but pushing through, they suddenly realize something terrible. The little girl is gone. They scream her name, but there is only silence. Luna panics, guessing the kid might have run toward the holy church by herself. Before they can even chase her, the entire pig horde screeches in unison, shouting snacks, and they bolt backwards. Even that massive boss pig turns around and flees, completely breaking character. Sensing a major trap, the trio follows the pigs toward the temple of the holy light. But just as they reach the entrance, the ground begins to shake violently. Their eyes widen in absolute horror at what is waiting for them. The bishop is standing in the temple, holding the half-eaten body of the little girl with blood dripping from his mouth. Wait, seriously, what on earth just happened? Literally minutes ago, the bishop asked her to join the holy light. She hesitated, but he kept insisting that the light absolutely needed her. Just wanting to help, she agreed. And the bishop immediately opened his jaws and bit her clean in half, absorbing her divine power with a creepy glow. Before they can even process this, the boss pig crashes in with a massive swing. It sends knights flying everywhere, but the newly buffed bishop does not even budge. He fires back with a massive barrage of holy lasers, tearing straight through the monster and punching holes all over its giant body. As the monster falls, the bishop steps on its corpse, bragging about the light. But he is so busy monologuing that he misses the massive power surge closing in from behind. He spins around just in time to block the blow, staring right at Lou. But Lou uses that momentum to slide past and slash the bishop across his back. Stumbling from the blow, the bishop tries to smooth things over, calling himself Hannibal, an ally to heroes. He proposes they team up to finish off the pig since its healing powers are finally failing. But Lou is not buying it. He demands answers, and before Hannibal can even speak, Lou charges with a heavy burst slash that sends him flying. He does not care about talking, he just wants this guy dead. But suddenly, the system drops a warning instructing him not to kill the bishop because only he can defeat the Pig King to finish the quest. Meanwhile, the bishop snaps. He retaliates with a heavy blow from his holy light sword, blasting Lou far back into the distance. Before he can strike again, Faye steps in with a fiery explosion that swallows the bishop whole. He takes massive damage, yet he refuses to fall and keeps charging forward anyway. That is when Lou and Luna merge their energy beams, hitting the bishop with crazy force and leaving him completely lifeless on the dirt. With the bishop down, Lou looks over at the giant pig beast and sees tears in its eyes. The monster mumbles a single word, snack. Then, we see a memory from its past when a kind little girl saved it as a tiny piglet and called herself Snack. She patched up its wounds, saying she hoped it could become human one day. She wrapped it in bandages and promised to come back the very next day. The piglet grew to love the girl, but she never came back. Still, he never forgot her wish for him to become more human. Desperate to make her happy, he started watching the villagers, copying how they behaved just to see her again. Hearing this, Faye and Luna ask why on earth he attacked her village then. The beast lets out a roaring cry, yelling that he only did it to keep her safe from harm. He had overheard the Holy Knight planning to devour Snack because she was the host of light. Terrified for her, he acted first. Lou then asks about the zombie villagers, and the beast explains they were just making far too much noise. So to quiet them down, he locked them in the pigsty and told his lesser pigs to treat them like normal farm animals. Lou asks if the beast can recover now, and the creature says he will start healing once the bishop is dead. But wait, why is the pig's body still burning up? Suddenly, the truth comes out. The bishop is still alive, standing right behind them and channeling his holy light domain. A massive barrier begins locking into place around him. Lou instantly rushes him, but before the blade can connect, the shield closes and sucks him right into the domain. The system alerts him that this is the Holy Light Domain, a pocket dimension giving massive buffs to the creator. When Lou finally opens his eyes, he is standing inside a giant, golden throne room. Right in the middle, the bishop sits on a massive throne, mocking him. Furious, Lou does not waste any time and leaps straight forward. But before he can land a hit, the bishop fires light beams from endless glowing spheres above. Lou dodges, but soon realizes the bishop controls every single orb, meaning this entire galaxy is his to command. Smiling, the bishop agrees. Before landing the final blow, he demands to know why Lou even attacked. Lou screams back that Snack came to him for help, and he completely betrayed her. Lou charges again, but the bishop blocks the blow without effort. Yet, hearing those words makes him pause, realizing there is a massive misunderstanding between them. He explains that he has figured out the true limits of this world, which runs entirely on levels. As a bishop, his only job was giving out quests to heroes in exchange for safety and respect. But he got curious about the outside world after watching powerful heroes return. So he left to explore on his own, discovering a massive land crawling with terrifying monsters. Even with constant fighting, he could barely level up until he saw tiny rats surviving by eating each other. He realized that devouring others is the ultimate shortcut to power, adopting the sick method to evolve. Lou gets it now. This guy believes cannibalism is the key to getting stronger. And Snack? The bishop explains she was chosen by the light, the ultimate sacrifice. Devouring her would give him an unbelievable boost in raw power. This makes Lou completely lose his mind, but the bishop does not care, claiming he has saved countless lives through this sacrifice. Ready to end it, the bishop unleashes his ultimate Holy Light Fall spell. But Lou counters with a massive burst blade swing, slicing right through the falling starlight and shattering them. Annoyed, the bishop summons a Holy Light Spear and hurls it straight at him. The spear pierces Lou and multiplies instantly, driving him straight to his knees. With Lou pinned down, the bishop boasts about using people as stepping stones to greatness. Lou just coughs and weakly calls him a crazy pig, which instantly sets the bishop off. Snapping completely, the bishop opens his mouth wide and rushes him, but Lou just grins. In a flash, he shifts into his skeleton form, triggering a massive boss warning on the screen. Right mid-charge, Lou grabs the bishop's glowing hand and rips it completely off with one brutal pull. The sudden move glitches the system manual, updating his goal to killing the bishop. Hannibal attacks in a rage, but Lou dodges easily and flies high into the air. Pulling out his ultimate weapon, Lou summons the hunting Deathblade. He unleashes a crazy combo, shattering all 999 light orbs. Suddenly, his strikes turn back onto the bishop, shredding him. A blinding flash of light explodes across the sky. Outside the barrier, Faye cheers as she sees Lou walk out completely fine. Luna is just left in total shock that he defeated a boss inside its own domain. Meanwhile, the Pig King is fully healed, crying as he cradles Snack's lifeless body in his arms. Without a single word, he carries her back toward the village. Watching them go, Lou asks Faye if they finished the mission, which just leaves her confused. Suddenly, 3 mission failed notifications pop up. Before they can even process this, the system starts resetting the random quests and reloading all character data. Once the reload finishes, Snack opens her eyes in her own bed. Confused, she realizes she is perfectly fine, thanking the holy light for bringing her back. She quickly jumps out of bed and rushes outside to find those piglets she left in the forest. As she walks through the town, all the villagers wave and wish her a warm morning, but her grandpa stops her, giving her a very stern warning about the man-eating beasts lurking in those woods. Completely lost in thought, Snack accidentally walks straight into the village chief. Worried, the chief asks if she is okay, then introduces her to a holy knight to get her checked out. But as the knight reaches out, Snack completely tenses up. She suddenly spins around and bolts, screaming that she refuses to be the host of the holy light. As she runs, she spots Lu walking right past her. There is something so familiar about him. She could swear he said something, but before she can figure it out, he vanishes into the crowd. Back in town, the village chief is busy apologizing to the holy knight. But the knight is completely lost in thought, realizing this pure girl is the perfect host for the bishop. He casually tells the chief to bring her to him later. Meanwhile, a hooded and masked Lu walks right next to the knight. With a lightning-fast, stealthy flick of his wrist, Lu silences him forever, so quietly that even the chief has absolutely no idea. Later in the woods, the little piglet is waiting for a tasty snack. When she finally arrives, they are instantly reunited. From a cliff nearby, our trio watches this surprisingly wholesome moment unfold. Before moving on to the next quest, Lu says his goodbyes to Luna. As they start walking, Faye tries his best to convince Lu to let him join the squad. Watching them leave, Luna can't help but feel these missions are getting weirder by the minute. Both the monsters and the NPCs are breaking away from their scripts, and she suspects Genesis is behind it all. If they team up, she's sure they can uncover the truth. Lu actually agrees with her logic, and right then and there, the three of them officially introduce themselves as a real team. Just then, an emergency server maintenance alert pops up on their screens. After some emotional goodbyes, the group logs off. The digital world fades away, and Luna wakes up back in reality where her cat is already waiting. She gives her kitty a gentle pat, thinking about her new in-game friends, but a sudden, painful coughing fit cuts her daydream short. Her maid walks in to let her know that her father wants to see her. After helping Luna into her wheelchair, she wheels her to his office and waits outside. Luna hesitates for a second before finally knocking. The door swings open, and she rolls herself into a massive office lined with giant glass aquariums. The room is dead silent until her cold father finally decides to acknowledge she's even there. He asks about her preliminary exam, flat out warning her not to embarrass him in the finals before dismissing her. Behind them, inside the massive tank, a shark silently hunts and swallows a smaller fish. Meanwhile, in the real world, Lu and Faye head out to a hot pot restaurant. Before long, they are staring down a delicious, steaming, bubbling feast. Faye completely loses his mind and dives straight into the food, while Lu eats with perfect, polite table manners. As they dig in, Lu overhears the guys at the next table talking about moon fantasy. They are hyping up the game's insane levels, tough monsters, and complex mechanics. But then they start debating a weird rumor: are the quests random, or is the game secretly tailored to each player? Listening in, Lu starts to seriously question how these quests actually work. At first, his only job was to slay the Orc King. But things went wild when the Orc turned out to be noble, the bishop became the actual villain, and Lu himself got turned into a literal raid boss. All this inconsistency is highly suspicious. Even that cheat book he generated from a random quest has started acting up and ignoring its own rules. Is this glitch because of how much he messed with the source code? Or is it tied to that mysterious Genesis entity Luna mentioned? Or maybe it is purgatory, that wild phenomenon Wu talked about, dragging Lu back into a whirlpool of trouble. It really feels like he's lost total control over his own game, drifting further and further from his actual goal. While he's lost in thought, the waiter brings over the 5 bowls of egg-fried rice Faye ordered. As Faye offers him a bite, Lu's mind flashes back to a freezing winter from their childhood, remembering a crying Faye after bullies trashed their room. Their older brother Han was right there with them, absolutely furious and certain that the local bully had done it. Han wanted to beg the orphanage director for extra sheets, but Lu told him he'd already tried and got rejected. That freezing night, with the temperature dropping to 18 degrees, the brothers huddled close under a single blanket just to survive. Being the baby of the family, Faye was already exhausted by their brutal life, crying and asking if things would always be this hard. Lu and Han could only whisper quiet promises, desperate to keep his hope alive. But all a hungry Faye really wanted back then was to eat 3 whole bowls of egg-fried rice. Back in the present, Faye is happily living that exact dream, stuffing his face while Lu watches with a proud smile. A bit later, back in the game, an urgent notification announces a massive new server event about to launch in the Iron Wall Kingdom. Registration is closing fast. There is only 1 minute left on the clock, but a heavily armored guard is blocking the entrance, shouting that registration is full, while angry players scream. Moving through the chaos, Lu smoothly slides a heavy sack of gold right into the guard's hand. Just like that, the guard makes an exception and lets Lu's squad pass, leaving the rest of the players absolutely fuming. With barely 9 seconds on the clock, Lu and his crew manage to slip inside. But they have only reached the outer edges. They still need to sprint all the way to the central castle. The moment the timer hits 0, A massive wall slams down from the sky, locking the castle shut. This sudden barrier traps Lu and his team inside, leaving them completely stunned by what just happened. While they try to make sense of things, a glitchy digital screen flickers to life. Walter, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, appears on the broadcast, introducing himself as their lovely host for this event. Walter explains that this grand tournament was put together to celebrate the birth of their kingdom's beloved princess. Over the years, she grew into a beauty so breathtaking she could literally melt snow and ice. The catch? A massive, terrifying dragon has kidnapped her, and their job is to get her back. 10,000 players are jumping into this madness, each starting with one basic badge. But as Luna already figured out, this is no ordinary quest, it is a brutal survival game. Over 7 days, players must hoard as many badges as possible, and only the top 100 will move on. There are 3 ways to get them. First, the easiest way is to find them scattered around. Second, you can slay monsters and hope they drop a badge. Or third, the most ruthless option, just beat up other players and steal theirs. Every player's badge count is displayed right above their head, turning every single encounter into an intense gamble. With the rules set, Walter officially kicks off the 7-day countdown. Lu's squad, sitting at exactly 1 badge each, doesn't waste a second and moves out. But they are quickly cornered by another group trying to pitch an alliance. Their leader explains his genius plan to band 100 players together to dominate the map and secure their victory. Too bad for him. Lu immediately shuts him down and walks away without a second thought. This harsh rejection absolutely enrages the guy, who silently swears to wipe Lu's team off the map the next time they meet. As they walk, Faye asks why he rejected such an easy alliance. Lu explains that babysitting a crowd of weak players is completely useless, and trust him, he's got a much better plan. Remember that boss loot from the bishop? He got a rare item called the Godslayer's Guild badge. This thing has a crazy passive. Anyone teaming up with Lu is automatically drafted into the guild. The bigger the guild, the higher the stat boosts for everyone. Because of this, Lu wants to handpick his allies carefully, making sure they actually deserve this broken power-up. Heading into the forest, Lu's group gets straight to work, hunting monsters and scooping up badges left and right. With their counts rising fast, they keep their eyes peeled for more targets. Soon enough, Faye spots a monster lurking nearby and confidently steps up, insisting on taking it down solo. But just as he's about to trigger his signature fiery explosion, another player strikes. Their combined attacks completely trash the beast, and it drops badges for both of them. But Faye is super annoyed, immediately accusing her of stealing his hard-earned kill. Furious, she refuses to take that lying down and lunges straight at Faye to steal his loot. Since Faye is too polite to hit a girl, he runs away while screaming for his big brother. In a split second, Lu teleports in and presses a dagger to her throat, but she instantly calls for backup, and her older sister arrives like a flash, grabbing Faye and Luna mid-air. Talk about an awkward Mexican standoff. Lu has a knife to the girl, while her overpowered sister is holding Faye and Luna in a literal death grip. This absolute mommy of a boss has 50 badges on her. Luna can feel her terrifying power, but she is way more worried about Faye, who is literally getting choked out. Desperate to save him, Luna triggers her Shining Star skill to flashbang the big sister. It actually works, forcing her to loosen up her grip. Luna goes in for the strike, but the older sister reacts instantly to block. The clash is intense, leaving them both quietly impressed with how strong the other is. Knowing she needs to force an error, Luna unleashes her Crescent Moon Slash. The big sister jumps right over it, but that is the exact opening Luna wanted. She rushes in for the finishing blow. Too bad the older sister blocks it effortlessly, showing that a head-on clash is not going to get Faye back. Meanwhile, the younger sister Lu is holding starts trash-talking, claiming they cannot win even in a 3-on-1. But as Luna preps another attack, the big sister stops her to look at Lu. Pointing a finger, she declares she wants to fight the quiet one instead. Without a single word, Lu steps forward and accepts. She tosses Faye to the side like a sack of potatoes so he will not get in the way. Then, she and Lu collide in an absolute flurry of blows. Sparks fly as they block and counter with flawless precision. It is immediately obvious to everyone watching that these two are on a completely different level, pure peak-tier experts. Lu is chillingly calm, making every movement perfectly calculated and efficient. Meanwhile, she brings raw power, throwing clean, lethal punches with absolute mastery. The shockwaves light up the dark forest, shaking the trees with every single clash. As the duel heats up, she finds herself getting seriously impressed by his power. Right in the middle of this life-or-death fight, she randomly asks to be his girlfriend. Lu is totally flabbergasted, and her little sister is just as confused. She claims her female intuition is never wrong, and she rates Lu a solid 80 out of 100. No way she is letting this catch escape. See, she spent 10 years dominating the esports scene, wiping the floor with everyone. But offline, Her love life has been as dead and dry as a deserted server. Armed with dating sim experience, she decides Lu is her fated husband. She slams the ground, throwing a massive shockwave while asking if he wants to start their love story right now. Lu says absolutely not, parrying her attack instantly. Before she can even blink, he zips over to Faye's cage and slices it wide open. Stretching as he steps out, Faye jokes that Lu should probably accept her, teasing him about being single for his entire life. Hearing he is single makes her fall even harder, her eyes turning into literal hearts. But her romantic daydream is shattered when a rogue arrow shoots her right in the arm. Before she can even complain about the pain, they realize they are completely surrounded. Hundreds of badge-heavy players emerge from the shadows, trapping them. The enemy leader orders his mob to take out the side characters, while he claims the big sister for her massive loot pool. Both groups immediately tense up, preparing to fight. But just as they prepare to charge, the sky splits open. A massive, glowing red beam crashes down, forming a giant barrier around all of them. Up pops the system screen, and Walter's helper announces a sudden rule update, introducing a high-stakes, grab blue, avoid red event across the kingdom. Blue zones mean epic buffs and treasure, while red zones are filled with lethal traps and reality-bending anomalies. With that warning, the announcer signs off and vanishes. Instantly, panic sweeps through the enemy mob as they look down and realize they are standing in a red zone. Then, the system alert confirms their absolute worst nightmare. Welcome to a chaotic space-time distortion. The rule says anyone trapped inside gets randomly teleported to some far-off corner of the map. As their bodies start to pixelate and dissolve, Lu shouts to his crew to keep farming badges and head for the center to regroup. With only 8,000 survivors left, guess who did not get teleported? The poor group leader is left all alone with the raging older sister, begging and offering bribes to spare his life, but she is not buying it. She channels her energy into her iron fists, smashes him straight into a tree, and steals all his badges. Right after, she realizes she never even got Lu's name. Cue the ridiculous daydream, where she starts planning the names of their future kids. Somewhere else, Faye and her younger sister Chili are introducing themselves. But out of nowhere, Chili throws a fireball at him, forcing a last-second dodge. She is still mad about the stolen badges and demands a fight. Faye tries to explain the misunderstanding, but she is completely deaf to his logic. As she runs at him with fireballs ready, Faye frantically offers a trade gossip on their siblings, seeing how much those two were flirting earlier. That stops her dead in her tracks. Cut to later, and the two are chilling by a campfire, sharing laughs and agreeing to team up to find their families. Meanwhile, Luna is completely alone and starting to panic. With the map and communications offline, she has zero ways of finding her team. Staring into the dark, she remembers her father's warnings about trying to reach the final round. Sure, he was always cold and put her through painful experiments, but she still believes he cared. She is determined to stay strong and survive this test on her own. But as she gets lost in her thoughts, a colossus with badge number 9999 creeps up behind her, ready to end her run. Somewhere else, Lu is in a crazy sword fight with a guy who actually matches his speed. 2 hours before this, right after the teleport, Lu kept his cool and analyzed the terrain. Realizing he was isolated, he figured his crew could hold their own, so he decided to focus entirely on farming badges. Equipping his stealth cap, he went into full assassin mode. Just a short walk away, a group of players was busy fighting mobs. In a blink, Lu sweeps in and slices down both the monsters and the players, vacuuming up their loot. Talk about a complete kill-stealing legend. He knows these small targets do not add up to much, but hoarding more badges will attract even stronger enemies. For now, his plan was simple. Hunt players in weaker zones. Elsewhere, a rich brat named Xiao was effortlessly wiping out monsters with his legendary gear, while his devoted admirer watched him in complete awe, totally mesmerized. While they are busy flirting, Lu sneaks up from behind. But just as Lu strikes, Xiao literally shields himself with his girlfriend, getting her killed instead. Talk about boyfriend of the year. Naturally, Xiao just gets angry that someone dared to attack him. Lu charges, and Xiao swings his legendary sword to unleash a massive energy wave, but Lu vanishes in the blink of an eye. Xiao looks up too late to realize Lu is already above him. With one swift slash, Lu ends him instantly, leaving a nearby player who saw the whole thing absolutely amazed. Lu barely even notices the guy at first. Total ignore. But when he finally checks the adventurer's badges, he is shocked to see a big fat 0. Believing Lu stole his kill, the player instantly challenges him to a fight. They clash head-on, sending massive shockwaves ripping through the entire area. The player unleashes a fury of strikes, but Lu effortlessly parries every single attack. While his opponent stands there stunned by this perfect defense, Lu counters with a lacerating burst, sending him flying. The player recovers and immediately fires back with a massive wolf mist beam straight at Lu. Yet, when the dust clears, Lu just stands there completely untouched. They can both feel each other's crazy power. But Lu is just confused. Seriously. Why is someone this strong running around without a single badge to steal? Grinning like a total madman, the player introduces himself as Feng, and Lu gives his own name. Then, they charge right back at each other with everything they have. They keep trading blows, but Lu blocks them all. Finding a quick opening, he backs off, realizing that fighting Feng is like trying to tame a completely wild, unpredictable wolf. Needing a quick breather, Lu maneuvers his snake spirit beast behind Feng, but Feng quickly positions his own wolf for a counter-ambush. The two spirit beasts collide in a massive explosion that shakes the forest, drawing the attention of a group of players nearby. Their leader stops the squad and orders his fourth brother to go check on a missing teammate. With a quick nod, the fourth brother digitally vanishes into thin air. Back in the duel, Lu spots a clear weakness. Feng seems to struggle in drawn-out fights. Meanwhile, Feng is just getting hyped up, loving every second of this intense battle. They clash weapons once more with massive force, but Lu instantly gets a sudden, sinking feeling that something is very wrong with this guy. Suddenly, a terrifying surge of power erupts from within Feng. Pure force. He charges forward, ramming Lu straight through a bunch of trees and slamming him hard. Lu is completely baffled because the more he beats Feng down, the stronger Feng gets. Turns out, Feng's passive skill is Bloodbath Serenade, giving him a 1% attack boost for every 1% of health he loses. With his attack power rising, Feng lunges forward again. Lu swiftly dodges, realizing that Feng's wild style still leaves plenty of openings. He realizes Feng is literally taking damage on purpose to buff himself. Lu keeps dodging, carefully guiding the fight toward a pack of monkey monsters blocking the path. Lu instantly unleashes his haunting death blade, slicing through the monkeys to build up an insane combo. For the first time, Feng hesitates, feeling the terrifying pressure of Lu's rising power. But Feng abruptly cuts off Lu's combo. Boom. A massive explosion swallows the entire area. Lu is shocked to realize Feng has the same trick as a rare event boss. Meanwhile, Feng remembers his leader warning him to always break the haunting deathblade combo. Heeding that advice, Feng stays aggressive, shutting down Lu's every move. Even as Lu tries to fight back, Feng's passive keeps amplifying his strength. Lu refuses to back down, channeling a massive wave of energy that pushes Feng away. Instead of backing off, Feng just gets more excited, shouting that Lu has finally given him a real fight. High up in the branches, the squad leader's archer is quietly lining up a shot, aiming to help Feng out. As Lu charges, an invisible arrow strikes him mid-air. Down he goes. Even though it helped him win, Feng is left completely shocked by the cheap shot. Taking his chance, Feng fires off his wolf mist basket directly at the falling Lu. The heavy impact blasts Lu straight down, crashing him deep into the water below. But both Feng and the archer are left confused. They supposedly just beat Lu, so why didn't their badge counts change? The archer narrows his eyes, accusing Feng of letting Lu escape on purpose by not using wolf exhaust. With an annoying smirk, he tells Feng that if he didn't want the kill, he should have let their leader have it. Feng looks ready to snap, but the archer just shrugs it off and walks away, reminding Feng that their leader is waiting. Staring at the rippling water, Feng quietly hopes he gets to fight Lu again for real. Meanwhile, Fei and Chili are getting along surprisingly well, talking about how absolutely perfect Fei's brother Lu is. While they stroll, a troll monster suddenly leaps out. Fei tries to play the hero, telling Chili to hide, but she just shoves him aside. She unleashes Fire Dragon Tornado, instantly turning the troll to ash. With that minor distraction cleared, they just keep casually chatting about their siblings while vaporizing any other trolls that cross their path. They talk about Chili's job as an animator while completely wiping out monsters without even breaking a sweat. But Fei makes a fatal mistake, casually mentioning how terribly underpaid animators are. In an instant, Chili's face goes completely dark. Without saying a single word, she channels all her rage into the poor troll in her hand, vaporizing it instantly. A highly awkward silence immediately falls over them. Fei regrets every life choice that led to bringing up low wages as the tension builds. Suddenly, a mermaid monster pops out of the water, bragging about her 300 badges. The moment the mermaid sees them, she unleashes a deafening siren screech that sends pure agony through their bodies. Paralyzed by the noise, Chili collapses in pain, with Fei falling right after her. Taking her chance, the mermaid casts a spell called Stitch, fusing the two together. Nightmare fuel. They wake up joined at the hip, completely horrified and utterly confused. The mermaid just laughs, mocking them by saying she has given them beautiful new clothes. But things get way worse when they see her summoning something behind her. A giant tentacle monster rises from the water, ready to eat them alive. They try to back away, but the second they take a step, they trip and crash down. That's when the horrifying reality sets in. They are literally stuck sharing a single body. But instead of trying to survive, they start arguing about which way to walk and where they should not be touching. Even the mermaid rolls her eyes at their petty bickering before dragging them closer with her magic. Getting dragged toward a monstrous beast forced them to drop the beef. With 0 options left, they agree to split control, each taking command of exactly one half of their shared body. Working together, they rocket into the air with fire magic. But this completely triggers the fire-hating mermaid. She retaliates instantly, launching a massive cannonball splash that sends a heavy torrent of water straight at them. They fumble completely, taking a direct hit. Since they only control half a body, they can barely stand. Somehow, they still manage to launch themselves up, spitting a wild barrage of fireballs from mid-air. The flames burn both the mermaid and the monster, but the beast quickly douses the fire with a wave of water. In response, it unleashes a spinning water attack, trapping them inside a swirling aquatic prison. Even while facing doom, they cannot stop bickering. This total lack of teamwork makes escape look hopeless. But right in the middle of their petty arguing, a sudden realization hits them. Without a second thought, they grab each other's hands, merging their magic into one devastating force. An insane fiery blast erupts, vaporizing the surrounding water in an explosion of superheated steam. Shattering their watery cage, they finally choose to cooperate. As the furious mermaid prepares to cast her stitching spell again, our duo moves in absolute, flawless harmony. This time, they dodge her attacks easily, dancing around her strikes with some seriously insane agility. Feeling the vibe, they shout at C to drop a beat. Moving perfectly to the music, they focus their merged power into a colossal, devastating stream of fire. With one last synchronized move, they blast the blazing attack at the mermaid, turning her into instant ashes. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the terrifying 999 badge monster grabs Luna, absolutely furious that she wiped out its babies. Defeated, the mermaid drops tons of sweet loot and experience, giving Chili a nice level up. Even though they are separated now, Chili and Faye keep holding hands while sorting through the loot. Once Chili notices, she gets incredibly embarrassed and immediately snatches her hand back, looking anywhere but at him. To hide her blushing, she awkwardly changes the subject, wondering what their siblings are up to. Little does she know, Mommy is currently standing at the edge of the cliff where Lou fell just moments ago. Lou's faint scent still lingers on the wind, triggering an intense wave of fury inside her. In a wild burst of anger, she literally pulverizes the entire cliffside, suspecting someone pushed her boy. Not far away, Fong sits on a defeated monster, but a sudden shiver runs down his spine as a wave of dread hits him. Suddenly, his leader shocks him by announcing a 500 badge monster is nearby. This news actually excites Fong. His battle lust from fighting Lou is still burning hot. Meanwhile, Lou is floating in the water in his skeleton form, totally paralyzed. After the cliff plunge, he was watching the surface, ready to fight back. But out of nowhere, some random venomous fish bit him. As the poison started knocking him out, he had to quickly switch to skeleton mode, just so the local sea life would not eat him. While drifting away, a violent whirlpool suddenly sucks him down, throwing him right into a dark cave. Standing up, Lou inspects the weird holes in the cave walls, realizing they were dug by some enormous beast. Since the coast is clear, he downs a quick healing potion to recover before heading deeper inside. Exploring further, he stumbles into a creepy chamber packed with giant green eggs. But his heart completely stops when he spots Luna's signature sword lying right next to one. He instantly slices the egg open, revealing a sleeping Luna, and drags her free. But as he tries to wake her, the 999 badge monster drops down from above, oozing absolute murder. As the beast lunges, Lou barely manages to block the strike, but the raw impact still rattles his entire skeleton. The monster steps back for a split second, then unleashes a relentless barrage of punches with its multiple hands. Dodging the chaos, Lou yells at Luna to wake up and asks how she even found this absolute raid boss. Furious, the monster screams that they killed its babies. Realizing the danger, Lou tells Luna they have to team up. With that, they both charge forward, taking the beast head-on. Luna aims straight for its arm while Lou slips to the side, striking hard from a blind spot. Seizing an opening, Luna unleashes her starlight slash, forcing the monster to flee back into its hole. Watching it escape, Lou realizes those holes from earlier are actually tunnels dug as ready-made escape routes. As the beast retreats, the ground suddenly starts shaking violently. Sensing the trap, they leap away just as a massive tail erupts from the dirt, barely missing them. With no openings in sight, Luna suggests they split up, hoping to force a gap in its guard. As they split, the monster targets Luna, giving Lou the perfect chance to counter. He times his approach perfectly, slicing off its tail in one swift move, sending the beast reeling in absolute agony. Writhing in absolute agony, the monster slams the ground, sending a massive shockwave. They block the debris, but quickly realize they are totally outclassed. Lou tells Luna to back off and recover while he holds the line. But after 2 brutal hours of constant clashing, the beat-up monster is still standing with a totally full health bar. He promises her the boss is about to collapse. But to their absolute horror, the creature suddenly eats one of its own eggs, fully healing instantly. It lets out a deafening nightmare screech, locking them both down. Suddenly, Lu's consciousness gets dragged deep into a weird illusion, finding himself having coffee with his own game character. Lu tells his avatar that the real answers are in his heart, but the character refuses to just throw in the towel. The avatar insists that Wu gave them a lead on Infernal Purgatory to find their brother. This just ticks Lu off. He snaps that the game is making him lose his grip on real life. He laughs at his pixel self, saying that instead of chasing ghosts, he should actually do something meaningful to honor his brother. The avatar just falls silent, taking the hit. Lu stands up and promises him that it is going to be fine. Instead of chasing a fantasy, they should do something real like opening an orphanage for kids who need a home. He says that is what they actually need to do, not mess around inside some virtual world. Suddenly, the furious avatar grabs Lu by the neck, shouting that he is just a nightmare demon sent by the boss. Shaking off the illusion, Lu snaps back to reality, only to find the giant monster holding him and Luna, ready to squeeze them to death. Waking up in the nick of time, Lu swings his blade and slices clean through both of the creature's hands. He immediately forces an antidote down Luna's throat, breaking her free too. The boss just scoffs, asking if they would have preferred a peaceful death inside their dreams. That just pisses them off even more. Lu and Luna charge from both sides, laying down a relentless assault that leaves the giant bug completely baffled. Though the nightmare screech should have crippled them, they are somehow fighting even harder now. Terrified, the monster tries to grab another egg, but Luna rushes in and chops its hand off. The giant beast panics, trying to scramble back into the dark tunnels. But Lu is already waiting. He lands a brutal finishing blow, slicing its head clean off. The corpse drops, giving Lu 999 points. He high-fives Luna, apologizing for getting the final hit, but she shrugs it off. They still have 2 days left to farm points for her anyway. But just as they turn to walk away, a creepy voice echoes from the shadows, making them freeze. Both of them freeze in absolute shock, realizing the creepy voice is coming from deep inside the monster's stomach. Suddenly, a smaller but equally ugly creature bursts right out of the dead boss, screaming to know who killed its mother. Seeing the duo, it charges instantly, kicking Luna aside before blasting Lu directly with a devastating green laser beam. Thinking it won, the smug little monster laughs and mocks them for being so pathetic. It sneers at them for playing dead, but suddenly a swarm of heavy boulders flies right at its head. The monster easily shatters the debris, completely missing the fact that it is all a setup. Lu and Luna ambush it from both sides, hoping to catch it off guard. But the creature effortlessly blocks their weapons with its bare hands, calling them boring before launching them back. Feeling entirely untouchable, the monster smugly tells them to try harder. Since this is barely a warm-up, Luna gathers every single bit of her remaining strength and charges straight ahead while Lu flanks. She swings with everything she has, but the monster casually slips past, mocking her weak attacks. Look at that teamwork just as it grins in triumph. It spots Lu closing in from behind, realizing too late that her charge was just bait. The monster spins around to fire a laser, but Lu is already behind it, triggering his backstab skill to carve up its spine. Screaming in rage, the creature immediately absorbs the life force from a nearby egg, instantly healing every single wound. They quickly realize that as long as those eggs are intact, this fight is literally unwinnable. Pointing at them, the creature commends their teamwork, but sneers that they are weak on their own. To prove his point, the beast casts a duplication spell, spawning 2 perfect clones before relentlessly bashing both Lu and Luna at the exact same time. Even though the split dilutes its raw power, the monster's defense is still way too high to break. Mid-fight, one clone drags Luna down into a pit, leaving the other to rain a heavy barrage of slashes on Lu. But the monster suddenly stops, completely baffled by the fact that Lu is smiling through the pain. Suddenly, Lu activates his burst sword, sending a wild wave of slashes that starts chain exploding every single egg in the room. At first, the monster laughs, mocking him for using such a basic skill. But as the slash gets stronger with every shattered egg, absolute panic sets in. Realizing he messed up, the creature rushes in to block, causing a huge explosion that rocks the cave. When the smoke clears, the beast is completely shocked. He never expected Lu to have such a massive ace up his sleeve, but at the same time, our guy is just as stunned because the monster is still standing. Lu charges forward, chugging a health pot on the run, while the beast charges up its green energy spheres. But out of nowhere, a hand reaches from a broken egg and grabs Lu's sword. Before he can even pull back, a whole swarm of newborn monsters crawls out of the ruined eggs, wrapping around him as the boss laughs. Lu starts hacking and slashing through the fresh spawns, but there are just way too many of them. Knowing Lu's abilities are on cooldown, the smug boss just kicks back on a pile of minions, watching the chaos unfold. Meanwhile, Luna is still fighting for her life against the other clone. It lands a brutal blow right to her stomach, throwing her hard into the rock wall. Trying to stand back up, she weakly mutters an apology for killing the creature before it could even hatch. The clone stops, completely caught off guard, before bursting into absolute hysterics at her weak joke. But once he calms down, he explains the brutal reality of their species. From the second they hatch, they have to devour their own mother to absorb her strength. Without warning, the clone leaps at Luna, casting that terrible nightmare cage spell again. Pure terror takes hold. She screams. Lu hears her, but he is completely pinned down by the mob of monsters. The endless wave of enemies keeps rushing him, forcing him to slice through piles of them. Soon, a mountain of monster corpses fills the cavern and Lu suddenly vanishes. A system alert chimes Lu hit level 30 and unlocked the Shadow Clone skill, letting him summon a perfect duplicate to even the playing field. The boss gets bored and climbs up the pile of bodies, only to freeze when it sees Lu is gone. Then, it notices one of its own minions acting weird, turning around and slashing its teammates. Pure dread washes over the beast as it realizes Lu is still breathing. Before it can even twitch, Lu strikes with his shadow clones, unleashing one hell of a haunting blade. This devastating technique shreds the rest of the minions in a brutal onslaught, pack-punching so hard it literally bursts through the ground from underneath. Pushing the attack even further, Lu aims straight at the boss, slicing it into ribbons with thousands of slashes. Meanwhile, over by Luna, the weakened copy of the enemy starts begging for mercy and promising to obey her. But she does not care. She instantly fires a crescent spell, completely vaporizing him on the spot. Just like that, the event wraps up, and every single player gets warped straight to the central gate. Everyone panics, wondering if they made the cut. Mommy, Chili, and Faye wait in extremely tense silence, getting super worried since Lu has not shown up yet. Losing her patience, Mommy tells the two to go hunt for info on Lu's attacker. Faye immediately gets super anxious, making Mommy admit she thinks Lu got ambushed and wiped out while looking for her. But Faye is not buying it, completely trusting his brother's insane power. That gives Mommy some peace of mind, but before they can say another word, Lu's voice echoes right behind them. He walks up with Luna piggybacking on him, which finally lets the squad breathe. Everyone is happy to see him, except Mommy, who looks incredibly annoyed. He marches right up, introduces herself as Hua Jiao, and boldly claims she is going to be Lu's future wife, leaving everyone completely speechless. Now watch this. While the crowd gossips about player numbers, the giant screen overhead flashes, showing Walter's grand announcement of the top 100 players. Lu lands at number 3, flanked by a bunch of Daybreak clan players, with Hua and Luna following close behind. But everyone is losing their minds over the first place score of 5,000 points. They quickly realize the top spot belongs to the Daybreak guild leader. This guild is ranked 3rd on the whole server, famous for dominating every single game they play. Still, they keep staring at Lu's name, wondering how on earth he outranked the Daybreak elite. Meanwhile, Hua is still busy trying to force Lu into marriage. He totally ignores her though, because he just spotted Feng sitting right with the Daybreak crew. Walter rains down tons of bonus experience points, triggering level ups all around. Lu's crew easily passes level 30, right before Walter tells everyone to step through the portal to stage 2. People head into the gateway, wondering what nightmare is next. Wait, is that Goku and Toriyama walking ahead of them? What in the world? Stepping through, everyone gets teleported onto high pillars in random groups of 5. Before they can even look around, the host of this round shows up to explain the rules. Believe it or not, this time they are playing a murder mystery deduction game. One of the 5 is a killer, and the others must sniff them out. Yes, we are basically playing Among Us now. Each round involves sharing clues and pointing fingers. Vote out the killer, and you move on. The host then hands out story cards containing everyone's secret roles. Lu quickly realizes this game is all about conversation. Then, the host sets the stage. The story goes that Warrior X, who was supposed to save the princess, got murdered. Everyone is a suspect, and Lu gets cast as the captain of the guard. And the game is on. Introductions start clockwise with player A, while the host hovers around to keep things official. Everyone has to state their connection to Warrior X. Player A claims he was a dear friend of the victim, insisting that a handsome guy like him could never be a liar. When the host asks for his suspicions, he claims he is clueless, though he is wary of the mage, player E. Next up is player B, the minister's daughter. She claims Warrior X saved her life and she is too sick and bedridden to kill anyone. She points right at Lu, claiming witnesses saw him with X. Finally, it is Lu's turn. Lu denies having any connection to Warrior X. He argues they had a falling out after he found out X was a fame-chasing womanizer. Plus, as a guard captain, he would never disobey the king, making his innocence pretty obvious. Lu points at player B, calling her relationship with X highly suspicious. Next is player D. She introduces herself as a scholar who wrote X's biography, claiming she is way too simple and far too busy with research to plan a murder. On top of that, she points out her extremely short height, arguing that the killer's dagger was found plunged from a much higher position, making it physically impossible for her. Unsure of who to blame, she suggests voting off the weak players before they drag the team down. Now, the spotlight hits the mage. He introduces himself as a kingdom high priest. To prove his innocence, he claims he only found Warrior X's body while trying to save him from a rogue deviation spell. He even performed a prayer for Warrior X, and suggests that the least suspicious person in the room is probably the actual killer. That wraps up round 1. 3 players vote to kick player A, and despite his loud protests, the host eliminates him, revealing he was just a regular teammate. But the game goes on. The host hands out fresh clues, and the remaining players have to share their thoughts on the new evidence. Player B goes first, revealing her clue says the guard always obeys the king. She argues this is a total lie and that the guard was probably betraying the crown. Next is Lu, who reveals his clue proves the mage never once left the altar that night. Still, he turns the tables back on player B, pointing out she still has not explained her secret affair with Warrior X. Now it is player D's turn. Her clue reveals that player B had a crazy, obsessive threat to destroy Warrior X if she could not have him. Next up, the mage speaks. His clue says player D is a highly trustworthy helper. At the end of the round, player B gets 2 votes and is eliminated, but she is totally innocent. The hunt continues. Round 3 turns into a chaotic free-for-all debate, letting everyone argue openly before they finally decide to put it to a vote. Lu tries to analyze the evidence, but player D cuts him off, claiming the killer is obvious. She says she knew player B was innocent, but voted her out just to bait the real culprit. She points right at Lu, accusing him because he happily agreed with her fake testimony instead of calling it out. She claims Lu is just looking for a way to survive and kill the rest, rather than finding the culprit. Lu, completely unfazed, tells her to quit wasting time and just vote. Silent and defeated, the mage says nothing as the voting starts. When the final ballots are cast, Lu and the mage both vote for D, while D hopelessly votes for Lu. With 2 votes against her, player D is out, and Lu wins the game as the murderer. The mage falls to his knees in pure despair while D stands there in shock, wondering why on earth he betrayed her. Lu explains his strategy. He knew from the very start that D would eventually sniff him out through simple elimination. But the mage was playing a completely different game, suspecting the least obvious suspect from day 1, just like he claimed in round 1. Player D finally gets it. Lu threw the argument on purpose to look wrong, baiting the mage into voting her out. As they plunge from their pillars, Walter pops up to congratulate the survivors and calls a quick recess before the final showdown. Lu's whole squad makes it through, regrouping just in time to get warped into a massive stadium. The place is absolutely packed, and Walter is right there hosting the event in the flesh. He welcomes King Jin of the Tapani Kingdom, who is sitting in the front row to watch the battles unfold. King Jin shares his hype and thanks the fighters, before dropping the real prize, 3 legendary gems that can be socketed straight into weapons. These ultra-rare stones grant insane passive skills and are easily worth hundreds of millions because they are basically impossible to find on the market. Hearing this, the boss of the Daybreaker Guild tells his guys to grab all 3 gems by any means necessary. The arena goes wild as the king officially kicks off the next phase. Walter steps up to explain the rules. It is a straight one-on-one ring-out match, where the goal is simple: push your opponent off the edge. The grand champion gets tons of experience, massive street cred, and those legendary gems. Plus, they get to handpick their squad for the high-stakes quest to rescue the king's daughter. Match make a choice. Totally random. Choice. Praise. Toys. As his team cheers, he gets a heavy wave of nostalgia from his old arena days. But the moment he steps into the ring, he stops dead in his tracks at the sight of his opponent. It is the exact same warrior Lu took down back in his very first boss event, the greedy guy who died chasing treasure. Since that humiliating defeat by Lu's skeleton form, this guy has been grinding non-stop to get stronger. He has absolutely no clue he is facing that exact same boss, just in human form now. A classic lone wolf type, he is always looking to level up and beat the impossible. With big boss energy, he dramatically tells Lu to take the first shot. But before he can even finish his sentence, Lu slashes his throat and ends it in a split second. As the guy fades away, he is totally crushed because he really wanted to flex his new powers, but got instantly deleted instead. The host quickly calls Lu the winner, while the Daybreaker Guild members squint, recognizing him from that time they tried to jump him. Up next is Luna, who swiftly carves up her opponent with some incredibly sharp swordplay, taking an easy win. Faye literally roasts his opponent's balls to cruise into the top 16. Then Mommy blasts a dude straight to Mars with a massive strike, making the Daybreaker crew recognize her style. Next up is Chili versus Diane from the Daybreaker Guild. Both step onto the stage with supreme confidence while their squads cheer them on. The crowd is absolutely buzzing to see these high-level players clash. Chili is feeling good, but Diane immediately humbles her by saying her chest looks exactly like an airport runway. That brutal flat chest comment completely triggers Chili, who charges right in. Diane slips the attack with ease, but as they trade heavy blows in a fierce clash, Diane surprisingly starts taking quite a bit of damage. Realizing she cannot play around, Diane activates her death summon skill, Flame Spirit, bringing out a fiery hound to tear Chili apart. Startled, Chili leaps into the air to dodge, but the monster instantly teleports right in front of her and lands a heavy blow. Faye is biting his nails in worry, but Mommy stays completely cool, knowing that Summon easily outstats Chili in raw power. With Chili hurt, Diane mockingly tells her to just give up, but Chili ignores her and charges ahead, unleashing a massive fiery tornado. Diane tries to dodge, but Chili suddenly teleports right behind her to blast her with the tornado. Thinking she secured the win, Chili completely misses the fact that Diane is still standing. Pulling off a rapid counter, Diane uses her summoning skill again, calling out 5 massive beasts to blast Chili right out of the arena. The stunned host calls the match for Diane since Chili cannot even stand up. He hypes up the incredible strength of the Daybreaker Guild and kicks off the next round. Her squad picks her up and tries to comfort her, saying she did great, but Chili is so disappointed in herself she bursts into tears. Wiping her face, she burns with rage, promising to get twice as strong and get sweet revenge on anyone who made fun of her flat chest. This fight makes Lu's crew realize the Daybreaker Guild is no joke and will be a major threat going forward. Next, the host calls up Daybreaker's star player Feng, who easily obliterates his opponent to show everyone why he is famous. Their top archer does the exact same, using a splitting arrow skill to pierce his opponent from every angle, making any defense completely pointless. Then Lei steps up, completely overwhelming his foe with blinding speed and ending the fight without even drawing his sword. Finally, the Daybreaker Guild leader enters the ring. Instead of attacking right away, he calmly starts criticizing his opponent's terrible sword grip and absolute lack of weapon control. The crowd is super confused, but the nervous opponent just stands there. As the leader literally coaches him to improve his style mid-fight, the guy gets so overwhelmed he just surrenders. Seeing this, other contestants completely lose their nerve and start giving up without even trying to fight. With the top 8 almost locked, Luna has to fight Diane for the last spot. Backed by her team's loud cheers, she enters while the arena erupts with Daybreaker chants. Right off the bat, Diane makes a comment about Luna's chest, noting that at least she actually has some curves compared to Chili. As Luna snaps back, Diane sends her beasts charging in. Luna fights back with Starlight Slash to blind her, quickly flanking for a side strike. Diane barely dodges by a hair, but her blindfold gets sliced clean off. Luna did that on purpose. She wants to look her opponent right in the eyes during this fight. Chili's group cheers like crazy while even the Daybreaker Guild starts showing some real respect. Diane lets out a wild manic grin and starts calling forth more beasts, laughing that their actual skill gap is just way too massive. As the monsters charge, Luna jumps to dodge, but they suddenly swarm her from every single angle. Before she can move, Diane pins her against a massive rock, completely trapping her. Luna's friends watch in horror, realizing even she is struggling against Diane's crazy 5-element summons. But just as Diane thinks she has got this in the bag, Lu knows Luna is not done yet. Luna suddenly explodes into action, her massive sword ripping through solid stone as she brings down a heavy strike. But Diane is ready, absorbing the entire ridiculous blast right on her shield. Powered by pure rage, she swings back instantly, because of course, we cannot have a high-stakes match without a tragic anime backstory. Her parents constantly fought and blamed her for everything, and bullies tormented her over their divorce. All that pain turned into pure malice, leading her to brutally crush those bullies. Seeking an escape, she logged into the game where a player named Hu actually praised her skills. But shocker, Hu turned out to be a total creep, trying to force her to be his girlfriend and making her skin crawl. She fought back, and when the creep tried to touch her, the Daybreak clan rolled up to save the day and got him banned from the internet cafe. Their leader saw her potential and invited her to join their top-tier guild. Cut to the present, and Diane is fighting with everything she has, not just for pride, but for the crew that literally saved her. She unleashes all 5 of her summons, merging them with an ultimate attack to fire a giant death beam straight at Luna. The explosion looks big enough to vaporize Luna, and the crowd goes wild. But Lu knows his teammate is way too smart for that. Out of nowhere, Luna is seen casually balancing on her sword right at the edge of the arena. Diane is completely baffled. Luna hops back onto the stage, thinking she somehow jumped from the floor, but the crowd knows better. Now it is Luna's turn to play. She fires a massive energy slash, and as Diane blocks it, a bunch of shiny stars pop up in the sky, completely blinding her. Before she can even blink, those stars rain down and instantly wipe out her entire summon army. Diane has to quickly hide behind her shield, sweating bullets. Luna pounces. She takes advantage of the chaos, throwing a fake slash before teleporting right behind Diane for a sneaky winning hit. But being the sweetheart she is, Luna offers a hand to pull her opponent up, locking in her spot in the finals. The next round will cut the final 8 players down to 4, meaning things are about to get incredibly sweaty. While the arena staff frantically glues the stage back together, the fighters get a quick breather. Luna walks back to her team to collect her praise, but she secretly feels bad, knowing Diane was fighting under a ton of mental pressure. Turns out, Lu's gut feeling is spot on. Meanwhile, Diane is practically crying to her guild, wondering if she even deserves to wear their tag. But her leader is actually super sweet, reminding her that she is incredibly talented but just needs more practice. Still, this whole match serves as a major wake-up call for the Daybreak crew. Their opponents are absolute monsters. With the stage patched up, the next battle kicks off. It is our boy Lu versus Daybreak's star player, Feng. This guy is practically drooling for a fight, promising to push Lu to his limits. Timer hits 0. They charge at each other like absolute runaway trains, instantly blowing up the arena stage on impact. Trading blows at insane speeds, neither is willing to yield an inch. Even though Feng is struggling, he gets excited seeing Lu's power. They clash again at hypersonic speeds, lighting up the entire venue. The Daybreak Guild is pretty impressed by Lu, but Lu's friends are starting to sweat over how ridiculously fast and strong Feng actually is. As things heat up, Feng tears off his armor plate, claiming he was only warming up. Lu mimics the drama by throwing off his cape, and the brawl resumes. When Lu swings his blade, Feng literally catches it barehanded, spins, and yeets it away. Now it is a classic fistfight, as they throw hands. Feng throws a barrage of heavy punches, but Lu parries them all, until Feng sneaky finds an opening and sweeps his legs. Lu bounces right back up, driving a brutal knee straight into Feng's nose. Both guys are just trading head-rattling headshots now, turning this match into a total gorefest as it gets more violent. With Lu showing massive signs of exhaustion, Feng exploits the opening to punch him straight into the dirt. But then, Feng suddenly freezes in pure terror. He books it. Lu had actually baited him, using the momentum of that punch to slide right back over to his sword. Grabbing his blade, Lu immediately cuts Feng down. His entire crew erupts in wild cheers, but the Daybreak leader is completely unfazed, knowing Feng is a relentless wild wolf. Feng rises. Even with a massive chest wound, he stands back up with an exploding aura, thanks to his passive skill. The lower his health bar drops, the harder he hits. Now fully buffed, Feng summons his sword and charges, hitting Lu so hard he flies backward despite trying to block. Feng follows up with an airborne strike, hammering his blade down onto Lu's shoulder. He keeps spamming heavy attacks, sending massive shockwaves throughout the entire arena. When the smoke clears, Feng thinks he won, but Lu is still standing and immediately leaps right behind him to try a cheeky backstab. But Feng reacts instantly this time, parrying the strike and launching Lu into the air. Everyone watches with bated breath as they both float up there. Seconds later, they crash back down to earth. Feng stands there fully powered up, ready to end this duel right now. Raising his sword, Feng triggers his forced battle intent. This absolutely toxic ability makes it impossible for Lu to dodge any attacks for 10 whole seconds. Feng readies his massive wolf strike. But you already know our main character has an anime cheat code up his sleeve, as he summons a second sword to dual wield. This insanely overpowered blade, Hidden Dragon in the Abyss, was actually a legendary drop from the Bishop. Their ultimate attacks clash in a massive explosion of energy. Both of them are absolutely loving the adrenaline rush, pushing their stats way past the limit. As they collide, a massive beam of light shoots skyward, swallowing them in smoke. Everything is buried in dust, and nobody can see who actually survived. When the smoke clears, only 2 shattered cliffs remain. Feng is down on one, and Lu is standing tall. The announcer crowns Lu the winner, sending him to the next round. The Daybreak team is totally shocked their star player lost a straight fistfight, especially since he did more damage. But their leader gets it. Feng got too greedy trying to trigger his low-health passive buff, which cost him his remaining life bar. He is holding back. The leader realizes Lu has not even shown his full power, making him extremely dangerous. On stage, Lu helps Feng up. Feng is super impressed by that dual-wielding move and accepts his defeat like a champ. Lu admits Feng was easily one of the toughest opponents he has ever fought. He even tries to recruit Lu on the spot, but our boy declines because he has got bigger things to do. So instead, Feng invites him to a real-life barbecue. And just like that, The host calls for a quick break because the arena is completely trashed again. He asks the king how much stronger they should rebuild it, and the king orders the absolute maximum security level. The king looks totally fine from the front, but in reality, he is gravely sick with tubes hooked up everywhere, holding on to his final days. Once the repairs are finished, the matches kick off once more. It is Faye versus the Daybreak leader, Shu. Just looking at Shu makes Faye drop his jaw, realizing he is facing the ultimate boss. But he quickly does some mental math and realizes that if he actually wins, it will ruin his opponent's plans entirely, and he will become incredibly famous. Instead of talking trash, Shu calmly asks what a mage is supposed to do against a warrior. He points out they should keep their distance, but right as he says it, he charges straight at Faye. Caught completely off guard, Faye barely blocks the blow. Shu starts lecturing him anyway, saying he should have used his left hand because it was closer. Then, as Faye tries to cast a spell, Shu immediately shuts it down. Annoyed, Faye steps back to charge up some massive fireballs, but Shu just smiles and tells him that this time his strategy is finally right. Right as Faye is about to release his attack, Shu interrupts him again, using energy beams to crush the fireballs. Seeing Faye fall to the ground in total shock, Shu stands over him and asks him to yield, noting his will to fight is completely gone. The host and Mommy can clearly see the massive skill gap. Mommy actually knows Shu's real name is Yang Guang, a legendary pro who has been gaming for 15 years and has won 30 major championship trophies. He retired to become a coach, but came back as a player just for this tournament. Looking over at Chili cheering him on, Faye feels pretty embarrassed. Then, he spots Lu pointing at his ear, and a sudden memory hits him. He remembers when they faced the final world boss at the internet cafe, and his older brother Han told him that his strategy should simply be to play by ear. Hearing this, Faye thought he was just a burden, a total drag on the team, but Han reassured him that he is actually the most adaptable person on the team, capable of handling any crisis. He just needs to trust his gut and go with the flow. Armed with that memory, Faye stands back up, his eyes burning with renewed fire. Tired of Shu's non-stop lecturing, Faye asks C to drop a beat. Sparking his fire magic to life, Faye charges straight at his opponent. Grooving to the music as he rushes forward, Faye completely confuses Shu. When Shu swings his heavy sword, Faye slides right between his legs, and yes, he is seriously aiming straight for his family jewels. But Shu flips backward, dodging the sneaky hit with ease. Deciding to clash head-on, Faye fires a stream of fireballs at the charging warrior, who keeps yapping about Faye's mistakes even as he runs through the flames. As Shu gets close, Faye summons a massive fire tornado, and the two start trading blows right inside the swirling vortex. Shu realizes that even though Faye is a mage, his hand-to-hand combat skills are actually pretty impressive. But Faye is still a fragile mage at heart, and Shu swings his massive sword, sending him flying. Right from midair, Faye fights back, summoning thousands of tiny fireballs across the sky and dropping them all on Shu. The resulting blast is so insanely bright and hot that it leaves the entire crowd completely blinded. When the smoke clears, Shu is standing there without a scratch, holding his shield with a smug look on his face. Chili is totally confused, wondering how anyone could walk away from a blast like that completely unharmed. Lu explains that Shu is masterfully dodging and reducing the impact to shrug off the damage. Back in the arena, Faye is running on fumes, using up all his power just to keep Shu away. Seeing Faye gasping for air, Shu rushes in to press his advantage. But when Shu swings his massive sword, Faye does something insane. He stops the giant blade with his bare hand. This is the trigger for Faye to activate his ultimate spell, a legendary skill that drains every drop of his mana for a massive boost. Shu hesitates, shocked by the sheer force of the technique, but Faye does not wait. He lands a heavy kick that sends Shu flying through the air. Before Shu can even process what is happening, Faye blurs right behind him, striking him again to send him crashing straight into the dirt. Faye keeps up the pressure, summoning massive fire tornadoes that absolutely shock the crowd. Pouring every last bit of his energy into one final spell, Faye summons a massive, anime-style fireball and hurls it directly at Shu with everything he has got. Realizing that taking this hit head-on would kill him, Shu quickly activates his shield parry to reflect the strike. As the massive fireball comes hurtling back, Faye is completely out of mana and has no way to dodge it. The blast connects, sending Faye crashing. Standing victorious, Shu actually praises his incredible talent. Suddenly, a gust of wind blows past, drawing everyone's attention directly to his naked backside. Honestly, nobody was ready for this. The entire crowd is completely distracted by his rock-hard cheeks. Even though Faye is lying defeated on the ground, he is not disappointed at all. He stays focused, knowing he just gathered crucial intel on Shu that will give his brother a massive advantage in the upcoming fight. Shu, still standing there with his pants down, praises Faye for a good fight, which makes his own crew, and even the hosts, cringe in pure embarrassment. Next, Mommy confidently steps onto the stage, but to her surprise, the archer from Daybreak already knows exactly who she is. He admits he is a massive, long-time fan who has followed her career for years. He knows her entire history, the tournaments she won, and even the guild she used to represent back in the day. Even with her great legacy, the archer is just disappointed she retired so early. Hearing all this fanboying, Mommy secretly wonders if this guy has a huge crush on her, but with Lou watching her every move, she cannot afford to hesitate. Just as she is processing this, Chili yells out a warning the archer is secretly channeling a spell behind his back while keeping her busy talking. Suddenly, a giant tree erupts from the ground right behind the archer, its massive branches reaching high into the sky and shaking the entire arena. The spell, Descent of the Demonic Tree, summons a creepy-looking tree with wild vines that lash out at anything nearby. As it grows, the archer quickly leaps up to the very top, ready to rain down attacks. But Mommy is not about to back down. She charges straight ahead, hacking away at the thick roots while the archer fights back by casting his Rain of Arrows spell. With countless arrows falling from above, she summons a protective shield to block them. But before she can even recover, the archer fires an invisible arrow that barely misses her head, clipping her hair. Still unfazed, Mommy pushes onward, deflecting the non-stop barrage of arrows as she closes the gap. She quickly figures out that he is using the high ground to kite her, trying to wear her down from a distance. If she does not break his rhythm, she is going to be in serious trouble. Thinking fast, she slices off a massive piece of the demonic tree and hurls it straight at him, forcing him to move. Mommy then uses the flying log as a platform, jumping off it to close the distance. In response, he fires his mandala arrow to stop her mid-flight. She blocks the hit, but right as she is about to strike him, he counters with a blank arrow that sends her crashing back to Earth. The archer smirks, highly confident in his position. He reminds her that an archer on the high ground always has a few tricks up his sleeve. But as Mommy tries to talk back, a sudden wave of weakness hits her. Her body feels incredibly heavy, and her movements slow down. With a sudden shock, she realizes she is poisoned. Watching her struggle, the archer calmly explains that his mandala arrow leaves a deadly toxin, slowly draining her to zero. The smug jerk just grins, taunting her about how long she can keep going with poison in her veins while his mana keeps refilling. Mommy clutches her wound. Only 30 seconds left. The toxic venom is taking over. In this tiny window, she has to close the gap while dodging his brutal knockback skills. Arrows rain down as she plots her next move, but she just slips past the volley and charges straight ahead. She uses mountain-shaking stomp, launching sky-high. Leg cocked, she aims a devastating kick right at him, but he fires a knockback arrow, sending her flying. Still, Mommy refuses to drop. Mid-air, she unleashes a shockwave clap that hits him square on, breaking his stance. He wobbles on a branch. She sees it. Spotting her chance, she rockets forward with everything. Spamming arrows in a wild panic, the archer tries to fight back. Unfazed, Mommy tears off a massive chunk of tree bark to shield herself, but another mandala arrow pierces her. Her body goes numb. She plummets toward the hard ground with no way to stop. Watching this, the Daybreak team praises their sniper's cheap, tactical style, fully designed to analyze and counter his prey. Mommy crashed hard, but the match is still on. Our sniper is getting seriously paranoid. To his absolute horror, she bursts from the rubble, charging with only 3 seconds left on her poison countdown. He shoots a blank arrow, but she slides right under it. Then, pure rage takes over. She unleashes her ultimate, slamming him with a vicious barrage of non-stop punches. Exactly 1 second remains on the countdown. She buries a brutal fist into his gut, collapsing right beside him as the timer hits 0. A double knockout? Talk about wild. Both collapse, forcing the host to ask the king himself for a final verdict. The entire Daybreak crew is completely speechless. Mommy somehow deleted 70% of his health in just 3 seconds. Their leader thinks she entered the zone that rare, God mode focus state elite athletes sometimes experience. In this mode, everything feels slow, predictable, and weak. It lets you pull off straight-up inhuman plays. Hearing this, Feng instantly wants to try it too. Meanwhile, the host returns with the verdict. Both fighters are disqualified for a double knockout, and the tournament moves on. Mommy feels down, but the squad tries to comfort her. One compliment from Lou, though, and she is instantly thrilled since she basically considers him her husband. Next up, Luna versus Daybreak Lay. But as Luna heads to the stage, her dad calls with urgent news. The lab reports show her compatibility levels are through the roof, and she needs to head to headquarters immediately. She wants to go with her dad. She agrees instantly, asking for just a few minutes since her match is starting. Her dad flatly refuses, warning her that a guard is already on the way. Right then, Chaos erupts in the background aquarium as massive sharks devour the smaller ones. Back online, Luna apologizes to her squad because she has to log out. They tell her not to worry after all, Lu is still in the tournament. She logs off, giving Daybreak Lei an effortless free pass to the next stage. With only 3 players left, the host sets up a semifinal between Daybreak Lei and her leader, Shu. Lu's squad is absolutely thrilled, because this means Lu gets a free ticket straight to the finals. Over at the Daybreak camp, they talk about throwing the match, but Lei insists she wants to fight Lu. To avoid a useless civil war, their leader Shu steps down and forfeits instead. The host calls this a smart move, officially announcing the grand finale Lu versus Daybreak's elite killer, Lei. As the names are called, Lu's squad cheers. But right as he steps up, Feng pulls him aside with some vital intel on Lei to help level the playing field. Having analyzed Lei's hidden cards in her last match, Feng warns Lu that winning this is basically impossible. With that lovely warning, both step up as the final round begins. The whistle blows, they pop stealth, and immediately vanish from sight. They vanish. Reappearing in a flash of sparks, they clash and block each other. It is an insane, high-speed blur. The crowd feels like they are watching 10 different fights at once. Lu spots a gap and swings, but Lei effortlessly slips under, countering with kicks that send him flying back. Neither backs down, trading simultaneous blows that trigger a massive shockwave, blasting both of them across the arena. Lu's friends realize these two are evenly matched. Catching their breath for just a split second, they lunge back in, unleashing a storm of high-tier skills. Charging forward, Lu is quickly outmaneuvered by Lei, leaving him completely wide open. She aims a brutal kick at his back, but at the absolute last microsecond, Lu reacts. He blinks right behind her, preparing a nasty backstab. But just as he swings, she uses backstab too, slipping behind him to land a clean hit instead. She locks him in a flying cross armbar, leaving him scrambling to reach his weapon. He barely grabs it and shoves her off, but now he realizes something she is actually testing him. Lu remembers Feng's warnings. Lei is a monster, a former elite mercenary captain. She is deadly with any gun, boasting flawless aim and terrifying, near-perfect knife skills. But during a rescue mission for kids rigged with bombs, her own squad betrayed her for a massive payout. Bleeding and battered, she wiped them all out with her very last bullets. In a final, desperate move, she hurled her dagger at the crime boss holding the bomb detonator. But he pressed it. The massive explosion triggered instantly, killing everyone in the room. That tragedy broke her, making her flee the mercenary life. Shu eventually found her, bringing her into competitive gaming. Now, she is not just a top-tier sniper, she is the rank 1 assassin on the server. Knowing her dark past only gets Lu more hyped, and honestly, so am I. Both channel their power and clash once more. When they clash, Lu gets annoyed that Lei is fighting with her unsheathed blade. Frustrated, he takes a massive swing, but she easily slips away. But Lu quickly follows up, forcing Lei to stumble back. Blocking his twin blades, she realizes his speed is insane, and she needs a new strategy fast. Backing away, Lei activates her Thunderclone skill, summoning 5 perfect copies to jump him from every angle. He tries to block, but the damage still chips away. He swings to counter, only to realize too late that it is a clone. The real Lei is behind him. Lu reacts instantly, using backstab and clone to strike her from both sides at once. Lei barely sidesteps to escape, leaving her guild members completely stunned by the endless bag of tricks Lu has up his sleeve. But Feng knows the brutal truth. No matter how hard Lu tries, he is basically toast against an angry Lei. Back in the arena, Lei finally draws her sword, sending a massive wave of crackling energy through the air. She claims the blade is just too overpowered, which is why she kept it sealed. Without wasting a second, she swings a massive slash straight at Lu, hitting him with absolute brute force. While Lu tries to catch his breath, his clone rushes, Lei to buy some time, but she just laughs it off. Her thunder sword won't stop tracking him until he is completely wiped out. Meanwhile, the sheer pressure of her skill pins Lu to the ground. Locked in place, he desperately triggers his Dragon Abyss spell to block her strike at the very last second. A massive bolt of lightning crashes down on her, making the whole stadium shake. The entire crowd can only watch in absolute awe as these two monstrous powers collide. Even the Daybreak squad is losing their minds, staring with wide eyes at this insane clash. As the smoke clears, Lu tells his clone to keep its guard up, but Lei instantly teleports through a portal and stabs it from behind. Talk about a cheat code that is her passive, divine escape, letting her slip into a portal when taking a fatal blow. Lei freezes when she realizes she only stabbed a decoy. The actual Lu is standing right in front of her, completely untouched. They both respect each other's power, but Lei still claims that fighting back is totally useless. She immediately calls forth her illusions again, raining down a massive storm of lightning across the arena. The strikes are so wild that even the poor birds flying above get absolutely fried. The electric bolts fuse together in the clouds before slamming into the arena floor. Lu barely dodges the blast, starting to sweat as he realizes her skills have literally zero cooldown time. Faye complains that this is totally rigged, since Lu has to wait for his cooldowns while she can just spam her moves. Meanwhile, Feng watches quietly, knowing the entire match is now in Lei's hands. With a mythical grade weapon like the Thunderblade, she can launch some of the most broken spells in the game. Lu is shocked to see her holding it, especially since no boss has ever dropped this weapon. Lei then drops a bombshell. She got it way back during the closed beta. Hearing this, Lu immediately thinks of his missing brother Han, and demands to know if she has any clues about him. She admits she does know something, but she won't share a single detail unless he can actually beat her. Since he is Han's brother, she expects him to be on another level, warning him that a loss means zero answers. Lu accepts the deal and rushes straight at her with everything he's got. He leaps high into the air as he gets close, triggering his rending burst blade. Lei counters instantly with a thunder explosion, setting off a massive shockwave. Even after taking the blast, Lu keeps swinging, fighting off clones that strike from every angle. He takes some heavy hits but manages to clear them all out, leaving him battered and bruised. Seeing how beat up he is, Lei taunts him, saying he won't last long enough to hear a word about his brother. That comment lights a fire in Lu, pushing him to charge right back in. But Lei reads him like an open book. When a decoy runs at her from the front, she instantly figures out that the real Lu is sneaking up from her flank. She swings at the side attacker, but gets completely outsmarted. Lu uses his swap skill to trade places with his clone at the final second, trapping both of them inside his rendering Spellblade Storm. Lei realizes he is planning a double knockout, but before she can even make a move, she completely freezes at what she sees. Standing right there, dripping with a terrifying dark aura, Lu unleashes his manic Asura form. The pressure coming off him is so incredibly heavy that Lei's mask actually begins to crack. This takes her back 2 years ago, when she and Shu were the last players standing during a brutal raid. Even after throwing everything they had at it, the mythical grade boss refused to go down. As the very first guild to find this boss in the beta, they knew the drops packed with legendary weapons and rare loot would be absolutely insane. With Shu completely drained and near death, he hands Lei a special code container, an item that would bind any legendary weapon directly to her account. But the boss doesn't give them a break, firing a destructive beam right at them. Shu uses the last of his energy to raise his shield, but it only buys them a few extra seconds. A second later he goes down, fading away. Using the tiny window his sacrifice bought her, Lei quickly activates her Thunder Clone technique, mixing it with her best sword skills. After a brutal, desperate struggle, she lands a massive final strike, completely shredding the boss. But as it dies, a mysterious knight suddenly emerges from the remains, glowing with wild thunder magic. Introducing himself as Helmod Thunder, he bellows that she is the only one to ever face his true form. Floating up, he demands her submission before launching a catastrophic strike that vaporizes the entire field. He locks eyes with Lei, charging up a final, devastating blast of energy to finish her off, leaving her feeling completely helpless. But right as the blast is about to hit, a random voice echoes out, telling the boss to stop picking on a girl. Annoyed, Helmod turns to the intruder and swings, but before he can land a hit, the mysterious player, Han, fully transformed in Asura mode, fires a massive energy beam that blows away half the knight's body. Shocked by the move, the boss stammers, asking if he is actually Lady Wu. Han laughs off the stupid question, drops down, and completely vaporizes the knight with the full fury of his Asura power. As the knight disintegrates, he leaves behind the legendary Thunder Sword, its blade humming with pure electricity. Lei quickly snatches it up, but Han just casually tells her she can have it, introducing himself with a smile. She is completely floored by his generosity. Who just gives away a legendary weapon like that? Leaving the area, she swears she will find a way to pay him back. Cut back to the present, and the entire crowd is holding their breath, staring at the blinding red sphere Lu just conjured. When the glowing ball vanishes, the audience gasps. Lu is standing there, his blade pressed firmly against Lei's throat, while her own weapon lies uselessly on the floor. With the win secured, Lu firmly demands any info she has on his lost brother. As Lei looks at him, she suddenly sees the spectral image of Han standing right behind Lu. Her thoughts drift back to the days after Han beat Helmod Thunder. Even though they were complete strangers, Han had saved her. But Lei simply could not accept such a massive favor for free. She offered to tag along as his sidekick until she worked off the massive debt of the sword. From then on, they traveled together, taking down every monster and challenge in their path. Fighting together, she saw Han's crazy strength and his legendary Asura mode up close. Then, in a wild battle, Lei's mask got knocked clean off. Han picked it up, handed it back, and casually told her she looked beautiful. Despite her insecurity about the scar on her cheek, His genuine compliment sparked a deep, irreplaceable connection between them. Snapping back to reality, Lei adjusts her mask and tells Lu she was indeed in his brother's party during the beta. Desperate for answers, Lu immediately asks when she last saw him. She remembers a quiet night by a warm campfire where Han looked deeply troubled. He told her a mysterious gate had opened up in the game, a door that was supposed to remain sealed forever. He explained that he had to go close it since he was the only player capable of entering that zone. Lei begged to go along, but Han firmly refused, telling her she had to stay behind. He promises that once he gets back, they will finally meet up for a real-life date. Han even hypes up introducing her to his brothers outside the game. But after that day, Han completely vanishes on her. Hearing this story, Lu connects the dots. That mysterious door Han mentioned? It must be the infernal purgatory Lady Wu warned them about. Lei adds that Han warned her about the door. If it is not closed, chaos will spread everywhere. Before they can even discuss it, the host cuts in, excitedly crowning Lu the champion. The crowd absolutely erupts. Cheers and applause shake the arena. Right after, the king steps forward to announce a grand ceremony, inviting our champion onto the main stage. But as the king speaks, blood drips from his nose. Struggling to continue, he warns there is no time left, urging them to hurry with the ceremony. Just like that, Lu and his squad are led to the palace. At the front gate, the assistant apologizes. He has no permission to enter, handing them over to 2 stewards instead. The stewards guide the group deep inside, down grand hallways. They reveal that, as the winners, each of them gets to choose one legendary treasure from the vaults hidden far below the palace. Descending into the massive treasury, the gang is absolutely blown away. It just keeps going down. Faye grumbles. Kings really love showing off with massive underground vaults, do they not? Still, his eyes light up when he spots piles of glittering gold and rare loot waiting inside. Billy and Faye charge the piles, ready to grab everything. But the stewards step in. 1 item per person. Mommy offers her share to Lu, claiming she does not want anything. He refuses. Knowing she needs better gear, he insists she take a prize. Afterward, Lu is led deep inside to meet the king. 2 seats await. The king orders Lu to sit. Lu hesitates, shocked by how frail the old ruler looks. Straight to the point, the king asks if Lu knows why they had to meet. Lu brushes it off. He demands to know why the king did not just send his army to save his daughter, instead of wasting time with some silly tournament. The king chuckles. Lu is sharper than he looks. Suddenly, metal clamps snap from the chair, trapping him. Stuck in place, Lu has to listen as the king drops a massive truth bomb. It was all a lie. The tournament was just a trap to find the perfect host body. The king strips off his robes, revealing a frail, decaying body underneath. Suddenly, his flesh swells. Power surges. He loudly declares his plan to steal Lu's body and reclaim his long-lost youth. Lu struggles. The king just laughs. Escape is impossible, he mocks, because those locks are absolutely unbreakable. Grinning, the king steps close. A glowing mark on his chest pulses, slowly sucking away Lu's life. Meanwhile, the squad is totally clueless, exploring the treasury. Faye literally just found the Infinity Gauntlet. Mommy stays calm. She notices the stewards locking the doors. When she questions them, they channel dark energy, revealing their trap to send the squad straight to their doom. Harnessing their dark magic and royal weapons, the stewards transform. Suddenly, they become 2 towering armored guard knights. The group freezes in shock. Mommy yells to focus and fight. They charge, but a knight unleashes a massive wing explosion, blowing everyone onto the ground. The knights sneer. They are far too weak to stand against them. Injured but standing, Mommy realizes these guys are powerhouses. She begins to worry about what kind of danger Lu is facing. Meanwhile, our boy is getting sucked. I mean, his life force. The king tries to justify it, claiming he seeks immortality not out of greed, but for the will of the heavens. He complains about the world. A chaotic mess overrun by monsters, leaving even the rivers unsafe for human life. Eventually, humans turned on each other. The heavens, unable to bear the suffering, chose him as savior. He reveals his past. He was once a slave under a cruel master. Enraged by his master's cruelty, he killed him with a rock. The freed slaves were grateful. Together, they fought the master's army, winning a brutal war. Armed with victory, he formed elite knights, defeated demons, and built a prosperous kingdom. He even married to secure his bloodline. But at his peak, a mysterious illness struck him. Doctors warned him that his time was running out. He refused to accept death. After all, he viewed himself as the ultimate beacon of hope for his people. Desperate, he pleaded with the gods. Why would they abandon him after all his good deeds? Ready to pay any price, the heavens answered. They gave him demonic power to drain life force from the living. In a twisted ritual, he used it on his wife first, then his own daughter, all to save the kingdom, he claims. Back in the present, as he drains Lu, he declares that the young warrior is the final step in his master plan. Suddenly, Lu's body explodes into blood. But a voice calls from above. The king looks up, shocked to find he only attacked a clone. The real Lu confronts him, condemning his sick actions. Furious, the king calls his stewards for backup. The two leap to his aid. Watching this, Lu realizes his squad downstairs might be in mortal danger. The stewards laugh, boasting that his friends are already dead. This news drives Lu into a state of pure, unbridled fury. Lu charges in rage. But the king sacrifices both stewards, turning them into a powerful sword and staff. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad gets kicked from the game as their mission abruptly ends. Chili fumes about losing the awesome loot, while Mommy wonders if this is actually a hidden quest. Since they have a 30-minute revive timer, they just head out to get some coffee. At Lu's house, Faye waits for the timer, sad he could not help his brother. Once it hits 0, he logs right back into the game. Back in the intense battle, Lu charges forward with eyes blazing. The king blocks his front attack, but Lu pulls off a clever backstab, slashing him from behind. The slash leaves only a tiny scratch. The king quickly recovers, throwing a powerful spell. However, he purposely misses, wanting to keep his future vessel undamaged. The king taunts Lu, demanding surrender and calling him weak. He mocks that Lu only fights minor monsters and players, while he, a king, has crushed massive armies across land and sea. Lu knows he is completely outmatched by this beastly power, but he refuses to give up. Using a stealth spell, he slips into the shadows, gaining some height to plan. High up, Lu chugs a healing potion, realizing he needs a total guerrilla-style approach to survive. The king quickly figures out his play. Proclaiming himself a tiger, the ruler casts a heavy gravity spell, dragging Lu violently down to the ground. Lu barely lands on his feet. He quickly summons shadow clones, launching a relentless series of attacks. The king blocks easily, but his counters leave a small opening. But the king catches Lu's sword with his bare hands. Meanwhile, the floating spirits of the stewards take control of the weapons. The king drops another gravity spell, dragging Lu straight into a swirling, watery grave. Realizing he is totally cooked, Lu decides it is finally time to play his ultimate trump card. While the king is busy admiring his weapons, a blinding flash of light slashes his face. Right on cue, Lu bursts out of the water in his shiny new aqua form. See, Lu has this broken Phantom God earring that lets him switch races for crazy buffs. Right now, he is rocking the Fishman build to dominate the underwater playground. The king's magic weapons get totally offended by this upgrade and try to slice him, but Lu easily dives deep. He zips around, popping up right next to the king for a cheeky backstab, but that smart sword senses him and smacks him flying. Mid-air, Lu panic shifts into a pigman massive raw power, but basically 0 brain cells. Talk about a questionable upgrade. Going full unga bunga, he charges with pure muscle and slashes the king's arm. But those floating weapons instantly fight back, carving up Lu's arm right back. Both of them just heal instantly. Honestly, the king is loving this, praising Lu's crazy skills. He is getting super hyped that his next meat suit is this insanely talented. Lu knows his basic setup is not doing anything, so he decides to unleash his secret weapon, the Hidden Dragon Abyss skill, because nothing else is working. Putting all his chips on this one move, Lu charges up a massive blast and flies at the king like a rocket. But the king just steps up and casually swats the attack away like a fly. But plot twist, that was just a decoy clone. The real Lu is already lurking right behind him, channeling the actual, fully charged power of the Dragon Abyss. The real strike hits the king dead on, blasting him straight through the palace wall. Talk about a home run. Thanks to a quick shield, the boss lands on his feet, finally ready to wrap this up. Meanwhile, Lu is completely exhausted, bracing for the absolute worst. Exploding with raw magic, the king traps Lu inside a massive, heavy water bubble. Lu quickly shifts back to Fishman to swim, but a barrage of jagged rocks pins him tight inside his watery prison. Grinning like a total psycho, the king offers him a baptism. But wait, get this. Lu goes completely numb when the boss reveals he knows Lu is actually just a player. The king explains the heavens told him the truth. Their entire world was literally built just to be a playground for players like Lu. At first, he thought it was a joke. But once the system boosted his brainpower, he realized the tragic reality: he is just an NPC bound by code, repeating the same life forever. Sick of being a toy for players, the king rejects his fate. He calls Lu and his kind dirty invaders, swearing his only goal now is to kick every last player out of his world. Lu is utterly speechless. How is a random boss thinking this logically? And what on earth is this heaven he keeps talking about? Getting uncomfortably close, The king admits he is highly curious to see what happens to a player's soul once he steals their physical body. Desperate to survive, Lu tries to drop Han's name. It rings a tiny bell for the king, but he shrugs it off. He is way too focused on erasing Lu right now. Lu suddenly shifts into pig form to wiggle away. But as the king starts sucking his life force, he gets absolutely furious to find out this is yet another decoy clone. Meanwhile, the actual Lu is hiding in the bushes, desperately waiting for his race change cooldown to finally finish. Shifting into a lizard to climb away, Lu tries to run. But the king decides to snap his arms and legs. First, he can just patch up the body later anyway. With a creepy smile, the king freezes the water, blocking Lu's exit with a solid wall of ice. And he has not done a literal storm of razor-sharp ice shards, starts raining down on our poor main character. Stuck as a cold-blooded lizard, Lu completely freezes up and cannot even twitch. A massive ice block slams him to the floor, instantly shattering into sharp spikes that pin him to a freezing slab. With absolutely no way out, the king grabs Lu by the throat and prepares to suck his life dry. Right on time, Faye and Chili blow up the entrance, and Mommy charges in to deliver a massive kick that sends the king flying, saving Lu at the very last second. The king's weapons are totally shocked to see the gang alive, swearing they already killed them. But the king is not even surprised. He explains that is just how these players work. They just respawn. But then he drops his real plan. If he steals a player's body completely, he can run around using them as his personal vessels in the real world. Hearing this, Lu screams a warning to watch out for that glowing seal on the king's chest that is his life-draining weapon. As the team rushes to free Lu, the king orders his weapons to slaughter them. The magic staff charges Faye and Chili, easily blocking their incoming fireballs with a heavy gravity shield. Seeing the shield, Faye and Chili combine forces for a dual tornado dance. The massive fire blast completely shatters the barrier and roasts the weapon steward alive. The extreme heat melts all the ice around them. Meanwhile, Mommy fights the sword, unleashing her ultimate move, a relentless, rapid-fire barrage of punches that completely overwhelms it. She totally bullies the tiny weapon. And honestly, she sends it flying using her legendary Big Melon's power. The king catches the sword midair and unleashes a massive, rage-filled sword wind explosion. The devastating blast races toward the group, leaving them with no choice but to brace for impact. Out of nowhere, the Daybreak Guild arrives to save the day. Their leader, Shu, uses a shield parry to deflect the entire blast right back, leaving the king heavily wounded. Lu is shocked to see them, but Faye admits they called for backup. The guild leader flashes a thumbs up, offering to help for a 50-50 split of the boss, rewards an offer the team quickly accepts. With the deal signed, Feng, their crazy fighter, charges the king with a manic grin while the rest of the guild takes up tactical positions. Feng swings his sharp blade, but the king dodges and counters, sending him flying. Landing on his feet, Feng charges right back, this time with Lei backing him up. Just as the king starts charging a spell, the guild archer snipes him from above, completely disarming him, while their teammate Diane locks the king down with magic roots. Completely immobilized, the boss can only brace himself as Feng and Lei relentlessly jump him from both sides with a brutal double assault. They land heavy slashes on the boss, but Lei suddenly senses danger and screams at Feng to fall back and get some distance. But it is too late. The king grabs them by the throat and hurls them into the wall. When the archer tries to help, his own invisible arrow is deflected right back into his chest. Pressing his advantage, the king crushes Diane's summon and moves to flatten her, but Shu jumps in just in time, raising his massive shield to block the blow. Furious, the king pummels the shield with heavy punches while trash-talking. In response, Shu transforms into his half-demon form, determined to avenge his beaten teammates. Shu used to be all about defense, but now he is throwing hands with the king with pure rage. Meanwhile, Lu's crew rushes to heal up the beaten-down Daybreak Guild members. Mid-chaos, Shu pulls off a Daybreak Slash to create an opening. Capitalizing on the distraction, Lu teleports behind the king and lands a heavy-hitting backstab. That sudden backstab gives the team just enough breathing room to heal up, coordinate, and jump the king together. The massive ultimate attacks literally tear the palace apart, setting everything on fire and threatening to bring the ceiling down. Outside, villagers lose their minds at the massive explosion while guards panic call for backup. Back inside, Lu's party and the Daybreak crew hold their breath as the smoke clears, praying their absolute strongest attacks did the job. But of course, the king strolls out of the rubble with barely a scratch on him, and somehow his two lackeys survive too. Talk about bad management, the king immediately sacrifices his own minions to absorb their power. Seeing him change forms, the squad launches one final desperate charge to take him down. Realizing Lu is too much trouble to use as a host, the king channels all his massive power into his hands and slams the ground to release an insane shockwave. The blast is so huge it literally levels the entire palace, leaving nothing but dust. Even villagers miles away can feel their floors shaking. Once the dust clears, literally everyone from both guilds is wiped out, leaving only Lu clinging to life with a pixel of health. Seeing him still breathing, the king gets greedy again and decides to steal his body after all. Just as Lu prepares to log out of life, his tome of random achievements randomly activates. It gives him a wild new quest: defeat the king completely alone and absolutely humiliate him with cheat code power. The king hesitates right before draining him, almost like he is daring Lu to do something about it. Bad move. Lu instantly activates his god-tier Asura mode, glowing with terrifying red energy. Respecting the sheer stubbornness of the kid, the king commends his spirit before they both leap at each other, trading some absolutely devastating blows. Mid-clash, the king starts sweating. Lu is somehow way faster and stronger than before, totally catching him off guard. Before the boss can even process the upgrade, Lu grabs him by the face and drags him across the concrete like a rag doll. The king punches back hard enough to send Lu flying, following up with a barrage of air slashes. Even with his top-tier boss stats, the king is getting nervous because Lu's aura is only growing, forming a massive, terrifying Asura dragon behind his back. Lu lunges forward and rams his sharp horns directly into the king's face. The king shoves him off, but Lu just keeps coming back like a Terminator, trading punch for punch without a care. They are literally destroying the map, throwing each other through stone walls. Even as Lu's bones snap under the pressure, his grin only gets wider, which is seriously starting to freak the king out. A quick pause to catch their breath, and they are right back at it. Meanwhile, the host and some guards watching from the sidelines are completely lost. But when they see Faye and her beaten-up group roll out of the ruins, they sprint over to help. Back at the duel, the king is completely losing the exchange and decides to go nuclear. He flies high and charges a giant explosive blast, but Lu literally deletes the entire attack with a casual wave of his hand. For his counter, Lu drops his ultimate Asura assault, cutting the king clean in half. Bro got divided. Damn. Shrinking back down into his pathetic old form, the dying king collapses, crying out for the mysterious infernal purgatory to save his life. Lu stands shocked as a massive digital crack tears open the sky right in front of him. Meanwhile, the hosts downstairs assume Faye's group was just attacked by some rogue dragon that leveled the palace. But their jaws drop when they look up and see that giant digital tear stretching across the sky like the literal end of the world. The half-dead king smiles in relief, thinking his dark masters from the infernal purgatory have come to save him, but Lu does not have time for a villain monologue today. With one swift swing, Lu takes the king's head off. In his final milliseconds, the king stares at the crack, wondering if he will ever see his goddess again. Guessing his missing brother Han might be on the other side of that portal, Lu takes a running leap toward the rift. But right at the edge, the game totally freezes up, locking him in place. A mysterious voice behind him asks if he is really going to risk it all for his sibling. Then, with zero hesitation, the floating orb drops the bombshell: Han is already dead. Lu goes completely numb with grief, but before he can even cry, the orb is like, just kidding. Suddenly, thousands of identical orbs spawn in, gossiping about whether to let him enter. So, how do godlike entities settle an entry permit? A high-stakes game of rock, paper, scissors. The main orb loses the throw, so they officially ban him from entering. Out of nowhere, a giant winged beast spawns in, telling Lu he is about to die, before blasting a massive hole straight through his chest. This fatal hit immediately spikes his real-world heart rate, triggering his VR suit's emergency eject. But the system is totally bugged out, failing the eject and causing a glitching force reboot instead. The winged entity suspends Lu's consciousness, forcing him to watch the exact world-ending ceremony his brother Han sacrificed himself to prevent. A colossal digital rift tears through the sky like shattering glass. All over the globe, millions of active players watch in absolute terror as these identical dark cracks begin fracturing their own game screens. The fractures combine into one giant dimensional tear, sinking the real world and the game world together. As the merger completes, Zhuang and a legion of elite endgame bosses spawn everywhere, sending millions of high-level monsters into the real world to run rampant. The winged boss announces that this is the launch of Huang Yue version 2.0, Infernal Purgatory. As he speaks, Lu's avatar begins to slowly fade away. Terrified players try to form a defense line, but the monsters wipe them out instantly with massive spike spells. Those trying to run find their path blocked by Bloodclaw, who begins ripping them to shreds. Seeing the horrific slaughter, the surviving top-tier players and drop teams group up for a desperate counterattack. But with one casual swing of his weapon, Zhuang blows them all away like dry leaves. Pleased with the easy win, Zhuang orders his army to harvest their souls and return to the Blood Moon for their rewards. This gets the monster army incredibly hyped, driving them into a blood-fueled frenzy. Meanwhile, out in the real world, a teenager is lying in bed, deep in his VR setup. His mom walks in, completely fed up with his non-stop gaming, and starts yelling at him to get a life. Annoyed by the silent treatment, she rips the VR headset off his head, only to scream in absolute terror. Her son is completely unresponsive, looking as if his soul was snatched. The same horror story plays out in millions of homes worldwide as players fall into vegetative states. Breaking news confirms the worst: almost 1 billion gamers are locked in, held hostage by Destiny Corporation. Outside Destiny Corporation, absolute chaos is brewing. Protesters are swarming the headquarters demanding real answers, but security keeps them at bay. Meanwhile, the big boss CEO urges everyone to just stay calm and wait for a fix. Chaos. Inside the conference hall, board members are absolutely losing it. Arguments erupt as everyone panics about their company going under, but the CEO shuts them up, demanding a real explanation. A technician steps up with some terrifying news. The main server channel was blocked last night, trapping everyone inside. Pulling off their virtual reality helmets now could literally turn their brains to mush. When their backup plans fail, the shouting starts right back up, but the boss cuts them off again. He orders an immediate presidential meeting and demands they hire the best engineers on Earth to fix this mess. Once the room empties, the CEO boots up his private screen, watching a live security feed from their secret research lab. In there, Luna is completely passed out, hooked up to some bizarre experiment. Meanwhile, the logout crisis hits its second day, and the internet is absolutely exploding with news about the company's shady cover-up. Officials are begging the public to check on their loved ones for anything unusual. To make things worse, a massive blackout hits the city. Rain pours down, filling the local dam to the brink, but the control operators are also stuck in the game, unable to open the floodgates. Back in the virtual world, one of those poor dam workers is pinned against a boulder, seconds away from becoming monster food. Right before the deadly strike, Faye drops in out of thin air, slicing the beast to pieces. Looking for clues, she asks if he has seen Lou, but the worker says he hasn't seen his brother anywhere. Worried sick, Faye leaps away to search somewhere else. Meanwhile, Lou is literally floating in the game's glitched-out coding, slowly losing consciousness as he sinks down into the abyss of death. But wait, a random achievement kicks in, gifting him the lucky coin of resurrection. The coin brings him back, spawning him as a creepy, half-human, half-skeleton hybrid in the exact same graveyard. The dark wizard who originally summoned him is standing there, immediately barking orders for Lou to get on his knees. Instead, Lou stands up, unleashing a massive, terrifying wave of power that forces the arrogant wizard to immediately beg for mercy. Deep inside the digital void, the winged guardian tracking the game code notices Lou's sudden return and completely loses her mind. She literally killed him herself, so she has no idea how he is still breathing. Looking for answers, she checks the floating globes, which reveal that Lou's code originates from Blood Moon City. Knowing this, she decides to let the city's ruler handle the problem. Over in the Blood Moon Lord's private realm, a sudden order is given: destroy the intruder who just showed up in Blood City. To get the job done, he sends his strongest blood slave. Back at the cemetery, Lou starts putting the pieces together, realizing the monster world and player world have completely merged. There are no respawns anymore. If you die here, you are dead for real. The mysterious winged girl is pulling all the strings, though Lou still has no clue who she is. But he knows one thing for sure: his brother is definitely locked up somewhere in her territory. Lou spots a figure standing on a high cliff. Before he can even blink, the creepy blood slave teleports right behind him, ready to strike. He instantly realizes this blood slave is faster than any opponent he has ever faced. The monster summons a massive sword and lunges, and Lou barely manages to block the brutal strike. Lou fights back, casting his clone spell along with his burst blade, attacking the monster from two directions at once. But the blood slave doesn't even sweat, unleashing his horse stomp technique to send both Lou and his clone flying back. Dismounting his horse, he introduces himself as Blood Slave and declares he has come to end Lou's life. This guy is clearly stronger than the king Lou fought before. Since his body is still weak from the resurrection, running away is his only real option. Before he can even run, the slave moves like lightning, cleanly slicing Lou's arm right off. Screaming in agony, Lou triggers his Godspeed skill and runs. The chase is on. As Lou runs at crazy speeds, his legs go completely numb from the sheer pressure of moving so fast. Realizing he cannot outrun this absolute freak forever, he leaps into a rushing river and transforms into his fishman form to swim into the deep water. But the slave is way too fast, triggering a blood war explosion that evaporates the entire river in an instant, turning it into heavy rain. Strolling through the dry riverbed, the slave easily spots a badly injured Lou lying on a rock. Barely keeping his eyes open, Lou feels utterly useless, wondering if he is really going to die this pathetic death. Just as his lights are about to go out, a blinding laser beam shoots down from the sky, vaporizing the slave instantly. A digital portal cracks open, and Lady Wu steps out to save the day. As the slave turns to ash, the Moon Lord teleports in with his 2 henchmen, demanding to know why she is sticking her nose in his business. She plays dumb, but Lu can feel the insane, heavy pressure rolling off the Moon Lord, making it hard to even breathe. His aura and raw pressure explode, terrifying every single creature on land, underground, and in the water, forcing them to run for their absolute lives. The Moon Lord immediately tries to flex his authority, telling Lady Wu that she needs to obey him, but she just claps back, explaining that since she manages the budget, she is cutting his funds due to rising taxes. The Moon Lord tries to pull rank, bragging about his raw power, but Lady Wu does not flinch. Instead, she lists off all his budget cuts and floats Lu into the air, getting ready to leave. The Moon Lord blocks her path, saying Master Yue explicitly ordered this kid's execution. Hearing this, Lady Wu agrees with the order, but instead of handing him over, she decides to handle things herself. The sudden explosive blast, she blows Lu's head off, claiming it as a nice new decoration before stepping into her portal. Seeing her obey Master Yue, the Moon Lord's minions start gossiping, which only makes their boss furious. Furious that Lady Wu listened to Master Yue instead of him, the Moon Lord grabs his own minions and crushes them like crumpled paper. Seething with rage, he vows to make Lady Wu his servant one day. Meanwhile, in a secret blood pool deep inside Blood Moon City, Lu starts regenerating inside a bloody bath, his bones slowly knitting back together. As his bones put themselves back together, Lady Wu chats and laughs about his life, leaving Lu totally confused by her sudden talkativeness. Lady Wu steps directly into the blood pool and confronts Lu, pointing out that she has nothing to gain from helping him, so why should she even bother? Lu is honest, admitting that while he is closer to the truth, his brother feels further away than ever. Feeling completely powerless, he desperately offers to give her absolutely everything he has if she will just help him. While his body is still putting itself back together, Lady Wu hears his offer and gives her first order to lick her feet. Yep, every weeb's dream right there. She also wants him to put on a show and wiggle right in front of her. Our boy, being the total soy boy he is, hesitates before actually doing it, leaving them both completely embarrassed. Lady Wu turns away and praises his sheer determination, but points out that his current strength is nothing compared to Master Yue. To give him some perspective, she breaks down their world's ranking system. The bottom 9 tiers consist of mere insects and tiny creatures. Moving up, the 5th rank is where we find demons, just like that blood slave who recently tried to end Lu. Lu looks disappointed that he could barely handle a 5th rank grunt, but Lady Wu assures him those demons are incredibly tough. Only 1 in 10,000 ever reaches that level. She explains that the 4th rank consists of massive, ferocious beasts, while the 3rd rank belongs to elite masters like herself and Zhuang. The 2nd rank belongs to powerful city lords like Moon Lord, leaving the ultimate 1st rank solely reserved for the legendary Master Yu. Nobody actually knows what she looks like, since she is the goddess ruling over the entire monster world. As Lady Wu explains this, she notices the burning ambition in Lu's eyes and gently suggests he let it go. But Lu knows he cannot just walk away. He has to save his big brother. He starts spiraling into deep self-doubt, feeling completely lost and even calling himself useless for dragging his brother into this. Out of absolutely nowhere, Lady Wu pulls him right onto her lap to comfort him, whispering that he does not need to blame himself. She points out that all his struggles have been for other people, never for his own sake. She then asks if he has ever felt true happiness in battle or any joy in victory. Hearing the word happiness completely stuns Lu. At first, fighting was just a tool to find his brother, but as he grew stronger, it all started to feel incredibly dull. Yet, deep down, he slowly began craving that raw, chaotic rage he only felt in the heat of battle. Even so, no battle ever brought him genuine satisfaction until he finally built a team and clashed with the powerhouse Daybreak Guild. For the first time, Lu felt pure excitement, not just wanting to win, but loving the fight. He wanted to rip through his foes with everything he had. As his emotions boil over, his body undergoes a wild transformation, turning into a majestic white tiger. Lady Wu watches in utter disbelief, realizing she just awakened the sleeping beast inside him. After things settle down, she awkwardly orders Lu to get off her, leaving our boy incredibly embarrassed. He quickly recovers and asks what his next move should be, but to his surprise, even Lady Wu is completely clueless. She desperately tries to play it cool, but in her hesitation, she accidentally lets slip that she has no idea. Fortunately, she remembers a key detail. His big brother Han once mentioned that the Southern Hallmaster knows a legendary secret technique capable of massively boosting a person's physical body. Hearing this, Lu is absolutely sure his brother is right. Lady Wu agrees it is their best lead and tells him he needs to head there immediately. But before he takes off, she warns him of a massive catch. Her relationship with the other Hallmasters is terrible, and if they find out Lu is her personal disciple, he is as good as dead. She warns him that he is entirely on his own, Disguised as a creepy skeleton, Lu creeps through Blood Moon City, surrounded by grotesque monsters while his brain desperately tries to process everything. He knows that if he wants to get stronger, this chaotic city must become his ultimate stepping stone. He has to build his power, crush anyone in his way, including Yue, and finally rescue his brother. His very first stop is the Southern Haute Tower, a high-class restaurant where the Southern Hall Master regularly goes to stuff his face with gourmet food. As Lu approaches the gate, the guards block his path and demand to know his business. Without missing a beat, he boldly says he is just there to eat. The guards immediately crack up, laughing at his audacity. Still grinning, one of the guards roars and sends Lu flying with a brutal hit, telling him he lacks the status to enter. Remembering Lady Wu's advice to only rely on himself, Lu dusts himself off and walks right back. Just as they gear up to beat him into a pulp, Lu quickly spins a lie, claiming he is an elite chef sent to cook directly for the hallmaster. The guards instantly turn serious, offering a quick apology and letting him slide right past. Inside, a monster assistant welcomes Lu and leads him through the grand hall, where patrons are loudly praising the legendary food. He guides him down to a basement kitchen, where 4 master chefs are already sweating over hot pans. Lu is told to wait his turn while these chefs pour their actual blood, sweat, and souls into creating the perfect meal to impress. As the final seconds tick down, the host loudly announces that time is up, and a horde of servers rushes in to grab the finished plates. The kitchen is dead silent as the nervous chefs watch their food get hauled off to the hallmaster. Soon, the host returns with the harsh verdict, immediately roasting each of them for their terrible cooking mistakes. When the terrified chefs beg for a second chance, they are brutally executed right on the spot. Lu just watches the carnage with a straight face, only for the assistant to pat his shoulder and say it is his turn. She leads Lu to the locker room to put on proper chef clothes. Meanwhile, he is internally cursing Lady Wu for completely tricking him into entering what he thought was just a normal, harmless cooking contest. Stepping inside with absolute dread, Lu notices a massive, hulking giant of a man staring him down from across the room. Meet his next opponent. The giant is clearly pissed off, calling Lu a total amateur and grumbling that he is insulted to even share a kitchen with him. Scowling, he slams the door shut, though another nearby chef has a completely different reaction. Instead of acting tough, this chef actually compliments Lu's intense aura, but then he drops a massive bomb warning him that only one chef is walking out of this kitchen alive. Basically, if he messes up his dish, there is a 75% chance he gets served on a silver platter. Lu finishes changing just in time for the countdown, stepping up to his assigned cooking station. The energetic host steps up to announce the simple rules. The contestants have to cook with whatever ingredients are given to them, and they have exactly 1 hour to plate up their masterwork. Staring down at his empty pan, a nostalgic memory hits Lu. Back in the day, he used to do all the cooking for his brother, who always loved his meals. He briefly gets lost in those sweet memories before the host snaps him back to reality. Everyone is ordered to lift their metal clutches, giving them exactly 2 minutes to check out their mystery ingredients. Taking a deep breath, Lu lifts the cover and instantly freezes in complete horror. Staring back at him is not a nice set of fresh ingredients, but the literal corpse of the chef who just died. The host loudly warns them not to ruin these precious ingredients with trash skills, since the master absolutely hates wasteful amateurs. After rambling for another moment, he finally screams for the timer to start. The chef with the fabulous hair gets a giant, hairy boar head, while the angry bald guy is handed a slab of raw goblin meat. Meanwhile, Lu just stands there completely frozen, staring down at a pile of actual rotting human flesh. His mind is racing because turning this disgusting garbage into a gourmet meal seems totally impossible, until a sudden spark hits him. He can mask the decay with intense savory umami and a fiery spice profile, transforming it into a classic, mouth-watering Sichuan-style dish. Armed with a solid plan, he carves out the tenderloin and gets to work. The marination is the absolute make-or-break step here, because Lu knows this terrible meat needs plenty of time to soak up the heavy spices to taste remotely normal. As Lu carefully preps his questionable meat, the fabulous-haired chef takes notice, looking genuinely impressed by his guts to handle such a horrifying ingredient. Still, both he and the angry bald chef are way too busy with their own tasks, aggressively butchering and tenderizing their meats to ensure the best possible texture. With only 20 minutes left on the clock, the entire kitchen is filled with the loud sizzle of frying meat. Lu is totally locked in, carefully searing his marinated tenderloin, determined to survive this insane cooking deathmatch. Meanwhile, the two-headed chef is completely paralyzed, staring at his assigned ingredient 2 severed human heads. His hands shake as the massive pressure of the kitchen crushes his sanity. Losing his mind under the panic, he suddenly grabs his own butcher knife and slashes his throat. A violent spray of blood splatters everywhere, directly ruining the meat Lu spent so much time marinating. Talk about a bad day in the kitchen. The self-inflicted wound sprays blood across the entire workstation, contaminating all the fresh ingredients around them. Lu immediately complains to the judge about his ruined meat, but the hostess just shrugs it off, saying the hallmaster ordered him to keep cooking no matter what. Even as Lu protests, she insists he still has 15 minutes left and should just push forward. But when Lu looks closely at his blood-soaked meat, absolute panic starts setting in. The raw meat is giving off a terribly fishy, rotten stench. To make matters worse, with zero time left to start a fresh marinade, things are looking completely hopeless. Over at the other tables, the fancy-haired chef is putting on a literal dance show while wrapping perfect pork dumplings. Meanwhile, the bald chef is actually making troll meat look pretty appetizing. With only 8 minutes left on the clock, Lu can only watch his rivals finish up while his own plate remains entirely empty. But giving up is not in his vocabulary. Since there are zero other ingredients, he tosses the bloody meat into a hot pan and starts frying. The timer finally hits 0, the loud buzzer sounds, and the host demands that all remaining chefs step forward with their finished creations. The stylish-haired chef presents gorgeous pork dumplings, while the bald guy serves up a plate of troll meat dumplings. Along with Lu, they place their creations on the evaluation table. After judging them briefly, the host announces that one specific dish caught the attention of the hallmaster herself. Instantly, the giant round structure behind him slides open, revealing a terrifying, colossal beast. And riding right on top of the monster's belly is Jai Sui, the southern hallmaster. She immediately tastes the fancy-haired chef's dish, loves it, and passes him to the next round. Next, she inspects the bald chef's troll meatballs, giving her approval and letting him move on to the qualifier. But when she takes a sip of his meatball soup, her face completely drops. Hating the taste, she wordlessly whips out a giant cleaver and instantly shreds the bald chef into a million pieces. Lu is completely paralyzed, unable to even register how fast she swung that blade. It was basically a blur. Now, it is his turn. As Jai Sui looks down at his plate, her face instantly twists with pure confusion. Staring at the random pile of food, she seriously doubts this can even be called a meal. Seeing her hand slide toward her cleaver, Lu desperately speaks up, explaining it is a classic dish of scrambled eggs and tomatoes. The snobby-haired chef bursts into hysterical laughter, mocking Lu for presenting something so embarrassingly simple. He thought Lu was a real threat, but now he just thinks he is a total joke. Lu stays calm, though knowing this recipe is entirely new to the monster world, giving him a secret advantage. Even with its ugly look, Jai decides to take a bite. In an instant, her eyes light up with pure amazement, and she gets ready to crown the champion. As the two remaining chefs sweat, waiting for the final verdict, the lush-haired chef suddenly yells out in protest, demanding Lu be disqualified for ignoring the rules of the recipe. And just watch this before he can even finish his sentence. A blinding flash cuts him into tiny pieces, clean as a chopped salad. Jai completely lost her patience with his whining, solving the problem her own way. Even if the snob had the better dish, his sudden death makes picking a winner incredibly easy. Jai officially crowns Lu the winner of the tournament. Lu introduces himself, and she asks him what reward he wants. Bowing low, Lu asks to learn her legendary, secret body-strengthening technique. Jai is totally fine with teaching him, but she needs to know his official power rank first. Since he has no clue what his rank is, she tells him to take off his shirt and follow her. They walk over to a massive structure called the Rank Tower. This place tests your rank across 6 different floors, ranging from poor to ferocious. Lu thanks her and enters the first floor, where he immediately faces off against a dangerous assassin rabbit. But before the creature can even move, Lu slices its head clean off and heads upstairs. Outside, her massive pet monster asks why she tricked their new winner into entering this rabbit cage death trap. Jai just smirks, revealing her true, dark suspicions. She smells the scent of Lady Wu all over him, making her think he is a hidden spy. When her giant beast tries to ask more, Jai delivers a brutal punch, slamming him down while declaring she only answers one question. Laughing to herself, she watches the tower, sure that she has trapped him. Meanwhile, on the second floor, Lu easily takes down a giant rabbit swinging a massive mallet. On the third floor, he meets a scholar rabbit, easily blasting it away with his clones and a heavy rending burst. Things get real on the fourth floor, where he meets a strong rabbit wielding a long staff. This guy actually knows how to fight, forcing Lu to defend himself. Trading blows, Lu realizes this rabbit's battle skills are almost on par with Feng's, but as the rabbit tries to overwhelm him, Lu spots a sudden opening, blasting the beast directly into the wall to end the fight. Arriving on the 5th floor, Lu meets the terrifying Shadow Art rabbit. The beast smugly warns him that he carries 5 swords, and will only use each weapon once. If Lu survives all 5, he wins passage to the next stage. Bracing himself for the worst, Lu watches as the rabbit quickly draws his first sword. A single swing cuts through the air, sending Lu flying backward from the sheer force of the impact. Struggling to get up, Lu demands the second attack, and the rabbit obliges by firing a massive energy beam. Lu barely manages to block it, but the overwhelming power still drags his boots across the hard floor. With only 2 swords drawn, his body is already reaching its absolute limit. Realizing he can't survive a third direct hit, he forms a quick strategy, combining his shadow clone technique with his hidden abyss spell to launch a surprise attack. The rabbit is impressed by the quick thinking, but easily shifts to counter. Drawing his third sword, a single swing completely obliterates the clone and interrupts the hidden abyss, slamming Lu hard onto the ground. Knowing he needs more power, Lu transforms into his Asura form. The rabbit senses the massive energy shift, recognizing him as a true warrior. Unsheathing the fourth sword, he strikes with insane force, bypassing Lu's block and punching right into his stomach, sending him crashing down again. Even as Lu lies defeated, the rabbit praises him, admitting it has been ages since anyone forced him to draw his fourth blade, a weapon that has taken thousands of lives. Coughing up fresh blood, Lu suddenly realizes something amazing. Ever since he entered Wu's blood pool, his physical body has actually grown much stronger. With absolute resolve, Lu pushes himself back up, demanding the final strike. The rabbit obliges, unsheathing a mysterious fifth sword that is completely bladeless, a spectral weapon made of pure spirit energy. Unlike a conventional blade, this sword does not pierce flesh, it slices straight through the soul. As Lu braces himself, the rabbit swings with full force. Upon impact, a wave of intense dizziness strikes. This is no physical blow, it is a direct assault on his mind. Instantly, his surroundings shift. He is suddenly standing in a massive, empty void, balanced on a giant scale opposite the rabbit. 2 swords hover ominously right above their heads. The rabbit starts rambling about the balance of bitterness and sweetness in life. And with every word he speaks, the scale slowly begins to tip in his favor. Lu gets it now. A mental battle, where conviction wins. He stands his ground and fires back with his own philosophy, arguing that bitterness and sweetness coexist, creating true harmony. But the rabbit snaps back. If that were true, pain and happiness would always be perfectly equal. Lu fires back, and the debate rages on as they both hold firm to their views of life and death. Suddenly, the vision cracks. A snowy world appears, then shatters, revealing the floor beneath them. The rabbit stands there and admits defeat, confessing that he still has a lot to learn about the true meaning of life and death. Lu simply points out that everyone sees the world differently, just like no 2 leaves are identical. Impressed by this deep wisdom, the rabbit praises him and grants him passage to the next floor. But as Lu turns to leave, the rabbit flashes a creepy grin, muttering that they will meet again very soon. Arriving on the 6th floor, ferocious, Lu immediately feels overwhelmed, realizing he is way out of his league. Instead of some terrifying boss, he finds an elderly rabbit sitting there, casually inviting him to play a quick game of 5 in a row. Smelling a trap, Lu instantly triggers his Asura mode and lunges forward with a deadly slash. But he hits nothing, an illusion. Before he can react, the old rabbit grabs his wrist, testing his strength. Annoyed, Lu unleashes a wild flurry of strikes, but his blades pass right through the old rabbit like he is a ghost. The rabbit just watches calmly, telling him he needs to move a lot faster. Suddenly, the old rabbit flicks a single game piece right at him, instantly dead. The next second, Lu snaps his eyes open only to find himself standing right back on the very first floor, completely baffled. He starts to wonder if he somehow passed the final ranking test. The rabbit just smirks, revealing the brutal truth, and honestly, you cannot make this up. This isn't some prestigious ranking tower, but a rabbit cage, and Lu was completely clowned by a massive prank from the tower master. He is left in pure, unadulterated shock. Meanwhile, back at the main hall, Lady Wu is drowning under mountains of receipts in her office. She glances at the paperwork and briefly wonders how Lu is doing, but quickly shakes it off. She can't go around spoiling him. She lets out a heavy sigh and decides to take a quick nap instead. But out in the city, the nightmare continues. It is day 5 of the massive blackout, and players are flooding into hospitals, many suffering from sudden cardiac arrest. The massive surge of critical patients has pushed hospitals to their absolute limit. Even after performing CPR, doctors simply cannot bring most of these people back. With so many deaths, the exhausted staff are losing all hope. Now, they only administer nutrients and fluids, keeping the players' bodies running while leaving their survival entirely up to fate. Meanwhile, in the neutral city of Praxis, a place where violence was once strictly forbidden, complete chaos has broken out. The safe zone is now a literal slaughterhouse, crawling with monsters hunting down helpless players. These beasts show absolutely zero mercy, tearing apart anyone they catch. A small group of players hides in the shadows, holding onto a tiny shred of hope, but they are trapped. No logouts, no escape. Their leader desperately tries to keep their spirits up, whispering promises that they will find a way out of this nightmare. Without warning, a massive beast tears through their hiding spot. Exposed, the leader freezes in absolute terror. He knows exactly what this thing is, the dreaded serpent demon. Before he can even move, the demon lunges forward, ripping his head clean off in one swift motion and swallowing it whole. Terrified, the remaining two players scramble and run for their lives. Desperate to survive, one of them turns on his ally, slashing his leg. Total betrayal. He screams that he refuses to die, using his friend as bait. But this cold betrayal is completely useless. The serpent demon easily catches up, unleashing a deadly, eroding breath that wipes them both out instantly. She hungrily swallows their souls as they tear free from their bodies. But just as she finishes her meal, she spots two robed figures watching from afar. One of them steps forward, clearly hunting for someone. He demands to know if the demon has crossed paths with a dark-skinned man carrying dual daggers. The serpent demon just laughs it off, far more interested in eating them. But her arrogance triggers the robed figure. Before she can even strike, Faye erupts in a torrent of blazing fire, landing a devastating blow right on her. Blinded by rage, he beats her down mercilessly, pinning her to the ground as he repeatedly demands to know if she has seen his brother. Chili, the other robed companion, rushes over to hold him back. But Faye is totally consumed by his emotions, reducing the giant serpent demon to absolute ash. Knowing Faye's dangerous habit of pushing himself too hard, Chili grabs him, begging him to calm down. But Faye refuses. He knows that with countless lives at stake, there is simply no